Pugno is a high-fiber cereal. BF Goodrich TA Tires, when you're ready to get serious.
Son of a gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car. What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
IndyCar thrills on ESPN. Today it's off to New Hampshire for the New England 200. The green flag flies at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Welcome back to Speed Week. Dave Despain for Bob Jenkins. Last night, Hagerstown, Maryland. The World of Outlaws race. Steve Kinzer wins it over Stevie Smith and Mark Kinzer. Elsewhere, Fremont Speedway in Ohio, it was Kevin Huntley, a winner over Frankie Kerr and Todd Lane. Hodges and Hood round out the top five. Busch Grand National North race on Saturday. Kelly Moore over Robbie Crouch and Mike Stefanik. And in Greenville, South Carolina, Winston All-Pro Mike Cope beats Jody Ridley. As we prepare for the start of the Winston Cup stock car race at Watkins Glen, now just minutes away, the fans in upstate New York are still buzzing about yesterday's Trans Am action at the Glen. Time for us to call a doctor. Dr. Jerry Punch has the story.
Rain began about 45 minutes before the scheduled start of the race. The first 8 laps were run under yellow in order to help dry the track. When the green came out, pole sitter Scott Sharp began to open up an advantage over brothers Bobby and Tommy Archer and Canadian Ron Fellows. The first serious crash occurred between turns 1 and 2 when Joe Vardy slammed the inside guardrail and scattered those standing nearby. Vardy climbed out of the car under his own power, uninjured. Under green, Tommy Kendall headed for the front of the field. He started 35th, substituting for Michael Dingman, who left the track on race morning due to a death in his family. The number 13 Herb Hare and the number 1 Jack Baldwin also started at the back of the field because their cars failed a post-qualifying inspection. It wasn't long, however, before they were also in the top 10. On the last lap, Don Sack and Randy Ruhlman collided, sending both into the guardrail. Despite the hard contact, both crawled out and escaped injury. Sharp easily won his 4th race of the 1993 season, extending his points lead over Ron Fellows. As he was slowing on the victory lap, there was another scary crash at the start-finish line. St. Louis native Jerry Clinton smacked the inside wall as he battled with 2 others for position. He wasn't injured, but it finally brought to a close what will be remembered as a very eventful day at Watkins Glen. For Speed Week, I'm Jerry Punch.
All right, thanks, Jerry. That's going to wrap up another edition of Speed Week. Dr. Punch and the rest of ESPN's Winston Cup crew are back momentarily with the live action from the Glen. I'm going to have to give Bob Jenkins' chair back when Speed Week returns next Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time. We're going to leave you with highlights of Chip Hanauer's 7th straight unlimited hydroplane win. Miss Budweiser did it again last weekend in Seattle. First, the weekend lowlight, a classic hydroplane blowover. Mark Tate gets the Winston Eagle keel up. Mark released with minor injuries. I'm Dave Despain. So long, everyone.
Speed Week has been brought to you by BF Goodrich TA Tires, when you're ready to get serious. And by Country Time Lemonade Flavored Drink Mix, with the taste of good old-fashioned lemonade. Watkins Glen International. No other road course in America has as much history, dating back to just after World War II.
45 years ago, to extend the tourist season in this beautiful part of the country, the Village Fathers decided to hold the race in October. For that event and all events through 1952, the start-finish line was right here on Main Street in Watkins Glen in front of the Schuyler County Courthouse. The race course wound around the surrounding township and county roads for 6.6 miles through the Watkins Glen State Park, where Benny is.
it's hard to believe this old stone bridge was part of a race course and that old cars like this Jaguar MGTCs and TDs averaged more than 60 miles per hour in 1948. And then no one ever went in the drink here because this old bridge was treated with great respect and caution as it should have been. This race course also had another unique landmark, and that's where Jerry Punch is.
Ned and Benny, the only way the first races at Watkins Glen could be run was with the help of the New York Central Railroad Company. You see, the New York Central used these tracks for both passenger and freight back in 1948, but they were persuaded not to use the tracks on race day. That day in October when the first race was held is still referred to around here as the day they stopped the trains.
When the final checkered flag dropped on that old race course, the city residents transferred their enthusiasm and support to a new venue. And there are new faces and names at the Glen nowadays. The NASCAR Winston Cup drivers are here for their second and final road race of the year. But one thing hasn't changed. In 45 years, the enthusiasm and affection the residents of the Finger Lakes region of New York have for their Watkins Glen International. ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you live to Watkins Glen International in New York for the NASCAR Winston Cup Bud at the Glen. Last year, this race was rain-plagued. As a matter of fact, it was shortened by rain. This year, however, no precipitation is expected. We have partly sunny skies. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Watkins Glen as this historic old race course gets set for another round of NASCAR Winston Cup competition, the 19th stop of the series in 1993 and the second and final road course event of the year. And it appears as if Dale Earnhardt is on his way to another championship, leading Dale Jarrett by 234 in the point standings. Rusty Wallace, Morgan Shepherd, and Mark Martin complete the top five. Only one driver, Wallace, has won a race here at Watkins Glen. However, Mark Martin has recorded top five finishes in the past 4 races. And he's also won the pole for today's event. Here's more with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's hard to believe that Mark Martin has led 611 laps, yet is winless in 1993. It's not because he and his team have not been strong as they fire the engines here on pit road and come to life. This team has been stout almost everywhere they've been. Remember Atlanta. What about Bristol, Tennessee, New Hampshire? Hey, Michigan, they dominated all afternoon, only to run out of fuel with 9 laps to go. Well, after shattering the qualifying record here at Watkins Glen, there's a lot of self-imposed pressure on Mark Martin, Steve Mills, the entire Roush team to pick up win number 1 right here today. Now, for a moron team that's had to endure more than pressure in the past few weeks, here's John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, yes, certainly pressure and emotion, a way of life the last few weeks for the Robert Yates Racing Team. Also a pressure-packed weekend for driver Lake Speed, who has been named to take over this ride for the remainder of the year. But Lake has risen to the challenge, qualifying 4th this weekend. Now, that may have been a surprise to some people, but it really shouldn't have been. Lake has a lot of road racing experience. In fact, in 1978, he won the FIA World Karting Championship. He's looking for some good runs in this car to help him secure sponsorship for his own team for next year. Now, as far as the 28 car for next year, Ernie Irvin has asked for his release from the Morgan McClure ride to drive this car. That has not been worked out. Nothing new to report to you this weekend. But getting back to road courses, Ernie Irvin has been one of the hottest drivers over the last couple of years. In the last 4 races, he has 1-2, finished no worse than 3rd. And here at Watkins Glen, Benny, he has really mastered this racetrack.
Well, Johnny's got 7 corners to master, plus an inner loop. I'm down in turn 1 as always. And yesterday, during the SCCA Trans Am race, we had a lot of activity here. 2 cars missed the corner getting in, hit the tire barrier pretty doggone hard. Another car, as he exited the corner, crashed in the guardrail and tore the entire nose off his car. Today will be no exception. We'll see guys trying to pass here. We'll have a lot of activity. Now, Ned, Jerry, you're down at a place that's got a lot of corners. Should be a lot of activity. Yesterday, not too much action.
Not too much action yesterday, Benny, but I think that we will see a lot of action here today. I'm in turn 5, just after they have gone through the inner loop, and really there are 4 turns there. Now, before they put that in, they reached a top speed back there of about 173, 174 miles an hour, but now it's about 165. But they really got to brake hard going into that turn, and you can see some passing coming through here. But I think that inner loop, adding those 4 turns, is going to help a guy like Mark Martin, who has so much downforce on his car that he set a new track record here. I think he's going to be hard to catch.
Ned, can you imagine he beat the field by almost 3/4 of a second, Mark Martin did?
That's hard to believe in today's competition, as close as it is everywhere. But he has the race car. Mark Martin has proven he's one of the best road racers in the business, even though he hasn't won on a road course. Today just might be the day.
We have a big day of racing here on ESPN. This race, 90 laps, 220.5 miles. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Allied Signals Fram Filters, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil.
The Suzuki GSXRs. First, they win more road races than any production motorcycle in history. Then, we put a license plate on them. The new liquid-cooled GSXRs, now available in 600, 750, and 1100 octane.
We'll have some beautiful aerial shots of Watkins Glen International today, provided by Blockbuster Entertainment Corporation. Well, the field has moved out onto the racetrack for a couple of warm-up laps, and then they'll get the green flag for the butt of the Glen. Here's the lineup. Mark Martin's on the pole with an average of 119.118 in the Valvoline Ford car number 6. Starting alongside in row 1 will be Ken Schrader from Fenton, Missouri in the number 25 Kodiak Chevrolet. Terry Labonte starts third. He's in the Kellogg Chevrolet car number 14, and then the Haviland Ford number 28, driven by Lake Speed from Jackson, Mississippi. Dale Earnhardt starts fifth in the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet car number 3, flanked by Rusty Wallace from St. Louis, Missouri in the Miller Genuine Draft Pontiac number 2. Kyle Petty will start in 7th position in the Mellow Yellow Pontiac car number 42, and then Bill Elliott in the number 11 Budweiser Ford Bills from Dawsonville, Georgia. Ricky Rudd gets the 9th starting position in the Tide Chevrolet car number 5. Wally Dallenbach from Basalt, Colorado drives the number 16 Keystone Beer Ford from 10th starting spot. Jeff Gordon will start 11th. He's from Pittsboro, Indiana in the DuPont Chevrolet. And Ernie Irvin from Modesto, California in the number 4 Kodak Film Chevrolet. The defending NASCAR Busch Grand National champion Joe Nemechek has qualified well for this race. He starts alongside Dale Jarrett in the 7th row. And as you take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, the cars, as you can see, are coming out of one of the corners and just about ready to start this competition here this afternoon. Kenny Wallace and Phil Parsons back in the 10th row. Rick Wilson and Bobby Labonte starts from row number 12. The 11th row has Dorsey Schrader, and we will be talking with him throughout the afternoon as he drives the Country Time Lemonade car. There are a total of 38 cars and drivers who have qualified for this event and are ready to go for competition. Todd Bodine replacing Dick Trickle in the number 75 car. Ed Ferree and Ted Musgrave in the next to the last row. And the last row goes to Hut Strickland and Scott Gaylord. As I mentioned, Dorsey Schrader will be not only carrying an in-car camera, but we'll have some radio conversation with him throughout the day. Dorsey, this is Bob Jenkins. Can you hear me up here in the broadcast booth? His crew right now, so we'll try to get through to him just a little bit later. We'll try it again. Dorsey, this is Bob. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Bob, hear you fine.
Well, apparently you can hear me, but...
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, he is. All right. Dorsey, what are the feelings as you're on your final warm-up lap here getting set to go?
Well, right now we're just concentrating on getting the brakes in. I got brand new brake pads on the front of this, brand new rotors. So I'm riding the brake a little bit. I want to try to get to the inside as soon as I can. At least I'm starting on the inside. That's a help. But I can get a good start here and maybe pick up 3 or 4 positions. Our ultimate goal, we'd like to get up to turn 10th, 11th, 12th place and get in single file and ride for a while. If we can do that, then we'll just run off some laps. Things will be comfortable.
Is this, though, by and large, an endurance race rather than something that you have to get to the front for quickly?
Well, it is more like an endurance race. You're right about that. It's going to be a long race, 2 hours, 3 hours, somewhere in there. It doesn't hurt, though, at Watkins Glen. To get a good start, you can jump up, get 3 or 4 positions right quick at the start, and then slot in somewhere. So you can get an advantage right away, then ride for a while. But it's a long race. I've seen a lot of guys, wreck their race cars on the first couple laps there, then your day's done awful early, so we don't want to do that.
Well, have a good one, and we'll talk with you throughout the afternoon.
Well, you know what they say, Yahoo!
That's sort of an inside joke. Before we go on the air, our crew gives us everybody a Yahoo to kind of pump us up for the broadcast. And, of course, Dorsey is a member of our broadcast crew every once in a while on some of the Trans Am races and others. So we wish him well, and we wish everybody that's in today's starting lineup a bunch of good luck. Morgan Shepherd will carry one of our in-car cameras. Jeff Bodine will have one. Morgan going up through the gears.
We're passing through turn 5 here right now, Bob. And the lights are out on the pace car, so they should be getting the green flag when they come to you.
That's Tom Kendall that we are riding in right now in the family channel car. Heading down toward turn number 6. Not too far away from the start of competition here this afternoon. An unbelievable crowd has gathered here to witness this event. Over 100,000 people. Definitely a record set to watch the activity here this afternoon at Watkins Glen. And as Ned indicated, you can see the lights atop the pace car are out. The field is waiting to be cut loose for 90 laps of competition. Mark Martin, Ken Schrader, Terry Labonte, Blake Speed, Dale Earnhardt, and the rest of the field getting set to go.
I can see 100,000 people where I sit, so I don't know how many people they have here today.
I think I can see about 75, so there must be a heck of a crowd here. Now they come through turn number 7, the final one. The pace car will be going to the right in the pit area as the rest of the field comes down and begins to accelerate. Mark Martin holding them back. Now the green flag waves, and we are underway with the fun of the Glen, and now their first challenge is turn number 1.
Here they come, Mark Martin. He's bringing Terry Labonte with him. They got Schrader hung on the outside. And Bob, great news. Everyone got to this corner A-OK.
They are 3 and 4 abreast, though, as they come up through the S's at some portions of the pack. It is Mark Martin who has pulled out to a rather substantial lead here in the early going, with Ken Schrader running second. Lake Speed, look at this 3-wide battle here. Labonte, Speed, and Dale Earnhardt nearly 3 wide as they head for 5.
Yeah, and Earnhardt ducked back in. He knew that wasn't going to be smart trying to go into that turn 3 wide. In fact, they can only go through there fast in single file, and as you can see, most of them have gotten down in single file.
Oh, and we have a problem in the inner loop. I believe Dorsey's one of those involved. Well, he was involved, but he didn't start it. He was a victim of it, and as you can see,
he's got a lot of damage to the car, Bob. That's the bright car that we see down there now. You can see a lot of damage. There's Derek Cope with some damage on his Bojangles Ford as well. He's just coming out of that left.
Whole front end, I think the left side's the one.
Well, it happened in the inner loop.
Bobby Hillin apparently involved.
Dorsey definitely having problems with the car as he tries to nurse it back to the pit area. Let's see if we can determine what happened here.
Well, a couple of cars got together. It looked like Derek Cope and Bobby Hillin might have touched. And there we see Dorsey Schrader coming into it with nowhere to go. And he hits the car number 98 off Derek Cope. And you can see the scrambling that's going on by everyone as they go out on the grass, onto the dirt, trying to move around him. But Dorsey now trying to get back to the pits.
There's a damage on the Country Time Ford as he brings it in. It certainly was not his fault. Derek Cope was sitting right in the middle of the racetrack, and Dorsey had nowhere to go. He cut
hard right, but he couldn't avoid hitting. And now he comes in for an assessment of the damage. See if he can get back out there in competition. Tough break for Dorsey Schrader, who has more laps on this track than anybody else because of his extensive road racing that he has done here. Not necessarily in this kind of competition, but in Trans Am and others.
Bob, we might point out that there was no caution flag. Everyone pulled away, nothing on the racetrack, so they're continuing the race.
And so the event does continue with Mark Martin still leading. Schrader is running in second spot. Lake Speed is in third. Terry Labonte, then Dale Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, Rusty Wallace, and Bill Elliott.
And Bob, I might add that Derek Cope and Bobby Hillin both are back in the race. Did not make pit stops, as we see Wally Dallenbach then on the inside. And he spins right in front of Irvin. I hope he doesn't go across the racetrack. He doesn't. He gets off the track, and so far everyone has missed Dallenbach. What a move. Dallenbach spun, went down in the grass, and everyone missed him.
Well, you could see that coming. He was down low on the track and tried to outbrake Bill going into the corner, but the rear end got out from under him, Ned.
Yes, it did, and it's cost him a lot of track position, which is tough to make up on a road course. But Wally Dallenbach is a very good road racer, so he has a lot of time. He'll be able to come back.
Started 10th in this event, however, has lost several positions because of his incident there in turn number 1. Mark Martin continues to pull away from Ken Schrader and the others.
Not a big surprise, Bob. That car has been so strong from the day they unloaded it here on Friday. As we look at the replay of Dallenbach there, Benny, coming in front of you.
Yeah, he was trying to outbrake Bill Elliott going down in the corner, and when he realized that Elliott didn't realize he was there, he had to spin the car, and we see Ricky Rudd over the ripple strips, but everyone got by unscathed. Whew, lucky.
We see Dorsey Schrader's car still in the pits. John Kernan is there with a report.
Well, Bob, they've shut the engine down. They've got a little bit of work to do. They've had to cut away some of that left front fender that was damaged, get it away from the tire. Then the car on the toe-in has also been knocked out, so they've got some jack stands coming out. They're going to have to reset that. They're going to spend a lot of time here on pit road, but they do plan on getting the car back out on the racetrack. That was the only damage done to it.
Well, Dorsey had a lot of hope going into this race, but this is what happened as we rode with him through the interlude. Well, you saw that he tried to signal the drivers behind him, but when the hole opened up, there was a car, Derek Cope, sitting right in front of him, and he could not avoid hitting it. So Dorsey Schrader remains in the pit area as the action on the track continues, with Mark Martin pulling out to a 2-second lead over Ken Schrader, Lake Speed, Terry Labonte, and Dale Earnhardt. We'll be right back.
When 280 seemed out of reach, it's Joe Amato and Autolite who punch it. The wall goes to 290. Connie Coletta and Autolite smash it. 300, the barrier. Kenny Bernstein and Autolite shatter it. Autolite and the record breakers. Wow, we feel pretty good about that.
Announcing the biggest advance in Quaker State history. It's Quaker State's new advanced high-tech formula motor oil. It gives your engine superior protection against wear, superior protection against heat and stress, superior cleaning power. Protect your car's engine with new advanced Quaker State motor oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.
This is a new car. I'd be crazy not to use Quaker State.
It's a round world, genuine and true. It keeps on spinning and you always come through. And you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud. Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your Proud to be your bud.
Watkins Glen, and just in front of you, Benny, a pass for second.
Lake Speed got position on Kenny Schrader, got inside of him as he entered turn 1, made the pass. We see Earnhardt trying to get by Terry Labonte, and the last time by Kyle Petty was looking inside Dale Earnhardt. And I don't know what happened. We see now that Earnhardt has about 15 car lengths lead on Kyle Petty.
Boy, Mark Martin having no problems at all as we watch Earnhardt trying to move on the inside of Labonte coming into the inner loop here, but he can't make the pass, falls back in behind him. Kyle Petty loses several more positions there. He just dropped down to the inside, and Ernie Irvin and Jeff Gordon went by. So don't know if Kyle's having a problem or what, but he dropped back quite a bit.
Well, now Earnhardt does take over 4th position, passing Terry Labonte. Now he sets his sights on Ken Schrader, who is 3rd. There is Kyle Petty, who is moving up nicely here in the early going. Moving backwards, I should say. Jerry, what's the problem?
Well, they've already dodged one bullet today, Bob. In anxious moments with the defending champion of the Budweiser at the Glen. In the final inspection prior to going out for NASCAR inspection this morning, the crew discovered a problem with the rear-end gearing. Some discoloration. They had to change the gear hurriedly. Felix Sabates told me had they not found that problem, the car may not have lasted but a few laps. As to what the problem is right now, the crew is still talking to Kyle, and we'll get back with you.
It looked like when the car was going through turn 6 over there, Jerry, that it was bouncing awfully bad. My monitor is not perfect, but it looked like the car was just bouncing terribly over in turn 6.
Yeah, you wonder if he might have a shock problem or something, Denny. I don't know. We'll keep our eyes on it. But there's Mark Martin coming through the inner loop. Lake speed. Maybe beginning to pick up a little bit. Certainly Lake is pulling away from the 25 car of Kenny Schrader. There's Phil Parsons in the pits. He was involved in that first skirmish. You can see the damage to the left side of the car. He hit one of those cars that was spinning in front of him, similar to what Dorsey Schrader did, and did some damage, so Phil's in the pits now.
As a matter of fact, I think Dorsey, about the same time he hit Jerry Cope with the left front, was hitting Phil with the right front.
By the way, Dorsey Schrader has taken his car behind the wall as they still try to fix it and get it back out there. Mark Martin comes through turn number 7 onto the main straightaway. Now that is Lake Speed in 2nd position, driving the Howland Ford. Schrader is next, then Earnhardt, Labonte, Wallace, Bill Elliott, Ernie Irvin, Jeff Gordon, and way back in 10th position is Kyle Petty.
I'll try to watch Kyle. Oh, here's a spin up, and that must be turn 6.
Looks like Rick Mast, car number 1. A lot of damage to the car as he has hit the inside wall. Now,
and this will bring out the caution flag, Ned, I'm sure.
Yes, it is. The caution is waving just in front of me here in the booth.
There is guard railing behind those towers. The towers will lessen the impact some, and you can see spectators back pretty far back behind them there. Well, let's take a look. Here he comes out through the grass. Boy, he is going at a high rate of speed there, too. Has no control over the car. Hits it backwards hard. And you can see the car spinning around. So Rick Mast taking a hard lick here at Watkins Glen.
And here it is from another angle.
Now that is nasty. Wow.
That's right by our TV compound there at turn number 6.
You think our producer and director all stayed in the truck or they left? Ah, they're all there, they said on the headset, Bob.
Our concern is for Rick Mast. We understand that he is moving around inside the car. Boy, that car just hit tremendously. And you're right, Ned, when it hits that grass, there's really no slowing. It slides all the way to the barrier, which in this case is a tire wall, which is in front of the guardrail.
And it feels like you pick up speed, Bob, on that grass, but I'm sure you don't. But to the driver, it feels that way.
So Rick Mast has crashed and brought out our first full course caution of the afternoon. We anticipate some pit stops here as the pace car has picked up the leaders. We will take a break and be back with more of our live coverage at the Bud of the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race in just a moment.
Imagine this is a sidewall of a tire. The whole idea is to keep the tread area in level contact with the road, or you'll lose traction, especially in cornering. Now, Goodyear has learned a lot in NASCAR racing and applied that knowledge to Eagle's street radials. In cornering, there's a lot of force trying to lift the tire, but Goodyear Eagle's racing-inspired sidewall design works to hold the tire firmly to the road. Eagle radials, only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
We're watching driver Hut Strickland test the McDonald's car. Hey, guys, what keeps Hut going?
McDonald's coffee, Jack. Hut loves the stuff.
McDonald's coffee, really?
Yep. Hut loves those sausage biscuits, too. What? He says they're only 79 cents.
Hey, he's pulling off.
Yeah, he's out of coffee.
What you want is what you get.
You want a sausage biscuit or anything?
At McDonald's today.
The sacks are back. The bombs are back. The blitz is back. The NFL is back on ESPN. The Raiders battle the Cowboys on an ESPN NFL preseason special. Last season, they took it all. And now the Super Bowl champion Cowboys look invincible again. But the silver and black attack of the Raiders will try to cut them down to size. Saturday night, live on ESPN.
The scene is a crash involving Rick Mast in turn number 6. The car making hard contact with the tire barrier. And the ambulance and safety crew is on the scene.
Is that Rick? That's Rick Mast walking.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see. We believe that Mast is walking to the ambulance. Yes, he is. So that is very, very good news. Now, those behind Mark Martin are seeing what his strategy is. If he comes in, you can bet that a lot of people are going to come in, but he does not. Phil Parsons flanks off, however, and does come in, but those running up front do not make a pit stop and stay out there. Kyle Petty, however, is one of the exceptions as he comes in to try to find out what is wrong with that car. Jerry, he's coming toward you.
We saw Kyle Petty losing spots lap after lap here in the early part of the race, and apparently the problem is that he has a sputter or a miss in the engine. Now, Kyle is hoping that it's a plug wire off, that he has a spark plug wire off the car, and that's the problem, but they don't know. It's very important, you know, that they don't have an engine problem early here. It could be a long day if you do, as Kyle brings the mellow yellow car down, and the crew now will change all 4 tires while the car is sitting there, but they're also apparently going to look under the hood. They checked a couple of the hood pins, outside tires. In this case, it's left side tires going up. They pin from left to right here as opposed to right to left they do on most of the ovals. And now they're over the wall, and it will indeed raise the hood on the mellow yellow Pontiac. The good thing about being able to pit here under caution, it takes so long in order to lap under caution, there's really very little chance of losing a lap in the pits. Now the engine crew now working on the left side of the engine as they're trying to decipher what the problem is in Kyle Petty's car. Bob?
All right, Jerry, Morgan Shepherd was also in, and before the incident, Joe Nemechek was given a stop-and-go penalty. We're not exactly sure what that involved, but he did come in for a quick stop-and-go. Now the track maintenance people are there at the scene of the accident to determine whether they need to repair that guardrail where Rick Mast hit. And when we play this crash for you in real time, you will see exactly how hard that he did hit this tire barrier and guardrail.
Man, that's hard. Now watch this. This is a better angle. I mean, that car doesn't look like it's slowed down 1 mile an hour from whatever speed it was running when it was on the asphalt.
Yeah, you're right about that. But the good news is Rick Mast got out of the car and walked to the ambulance. So no at least serious injury, although he will be checked over at the local medical center. Back with more from Watkins Glen in a moment.
When cable companies first started carrying broadcast TV, the broadcasters loved it. Why? Because the more people who see their commercials, the more they get to charge advertisers. It's big money. But apparently it's not enough. Now the broadcast stations want to charge cable companies for their signal, which means cable customers would eventually pay extra for what everybody else gets free. The stations say they deserve more money, but frankly, we're not buying it. And we don't think you should either.
The folks at GSEO Farm Market asked me to speak with you, seeing as I'm a farmer and all, and I am pleased as punch to oblige. GSEO Farm Market has produce grown right on the farm like the ones you see right here. They're fresh picked and mighty delicious. Now hush up and listen. The young whippersnapper's going to tell you more.
Get ripe Jersey field tomatoes 3-pound tray for $2.69 and juicy cantaloupe only $1 and up.
So come to GSEO Farm Market, Salem Road in Burlington Township. See you soon, you hear?
Bob Murphy finished birdie en route to a 3-under par 69. He's at 8-under par, 1 shot off the lead. 17 golfers within 5 shots of our co-leaders. Join our ESPN golf team for final round live coverage at 5:30 Eastern Time today.
Trackbacks are brought to you by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil.
In Winston Cup racing, efficient use of time and attention to detail is critical to a team's success. Now, here's the usual scenario. It's Saturday afternoon, the final practice session, what we call happy hour. Now, someone will see a wisp of smoke coming from your race car with maybe 10 minutes to go, and so you're obligated to come back to the garage area and check it out, if you're smart. Well, what you have to do basically is pull apart the Oberg filter. This filter here has an aluminum cover, and you check the screen inside for parts of metal from the engine. This may seem simple, but let me show you where this filter usually is located. Behind the driver, you pull out the opera window, disconnect the hoses, and then begin to work on the filter. That all takes time you don't have in that final practice session. Well, here at Penske South, one of the co-owners, Don Miller here, says they have developed a Lexan cover for the Oberg filter. You can see through it. You simply slide that on, Don, and if you have a problem, that wisp of smoke we talked about, you simply come back to the garage, peer through the window, through the Lexan, and see if you have a problem. A very efficient and safe way to check your engine.
New innovation in Winston Cup racing, and as you can see, Kyle Petty is back in the pits. Jerry? And they are not yet looking toward the Oberg filter area. Right now, Bob, their attention is in the engine compartment. A minute ago, he came in, and apart from changing tires, they changed the ignition and the coil, but the problem still continued. The car is missing. They've checked the spark plug wire, so their initial hopes that maybe a wire had vibrated off was not the case. Now John Wilson, the engine builder, and that's him on the far right of the car with the beard and the sunglasses and the blue headset, is looking about possibly a valve spring being broken in the car, which would certainly create a problem for them the rest of the afternoon. Tough break to the defending champion of the Budweiser at the Glen. Yeah, and we'll never forget the fun we had with him last year at this race, as you see the remains of the Skoal Classic driven by Rick Mast after hard contact with the guardrail up in turn number 6. You remember the race was rain shortened last year, and we talked to Kyle, and just as we were talking with him, we got the official word from NASCAR that the race had been officially stopped, and he was the winner, but he wouldn't take John Kernan's word for it. He waited until he got a higher authority, but he was the winner of the race last year, but problems for him here in the early going in 1993. He pulls back out of the pit area onto the racetrack once again to try to salvage what's left of this event, and we got a long way to go with Mark Martin still leading after 10 of 90 laps.
Announcing the biggest advance in Quaker State history. It's Quaker State's new advanced high-tech formula motor oil. It gives your engine superior protection against wear, superior protection against heat and stress, superior cleaning power. Protect your car's engine with new advanced Quaker State motor oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.
This is a new car. I'd be crazy not to use Quaker State.
The Suzuki Chitana 600, easily identified flying object.
Recently, one of Subway's best customers suggested we offer our turkey breast sub with chips and a drink at a special price. He also suggested a name for this meal deal breakthrough: Abundant Food Consumables with potato wafers and enlarged fluid unit. Not bad, but we call it the Mass Quantities Meal Deal. It's for anyone who has a hearty appetite, or like my friend here, comes from France.
Get a Coneheads Collector Cup with a Mass Quantities Meal Deal at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
While supplies last.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard Oil Filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
Off the road, on the road. The Suzuki Dual Sport 350S. It's a vicious cycle.
The race has been stopped on the 11th lap. There is some damage to the guardrail out there in turn number 6, and they're going to get everything the way they want it before they resume the action. The drivers are going to stay in their cars. We don't anticipate a long delay here, but we are going to red flag the race while they can repair the guardrail over there in turn number 6, where Rick Mast had a very, very bad crash, but he apparently is okay. Ned?
Well, we wondered if Mark Martin or any of them would make pit stops, and of course we saw that they did not. And one reason they didn't, this is the 90-lap race. They can go about 30 laps or maybe as many as 32 laps on a tank of fuel, so no one wanted to give up that track position to come in and then be off sync as far as pit stops are concerned, because everybody is figuring on making 2 pit stops during this race. Now, we also might mention during one of our breaks before Rick Mast wreck, Morgan Shepherd spun out in that same area. He didn't hit anything. He got his car stopped before it got over to the guardrail. We mentioned a moment ago that he had made a pit stop. He was back near the back of the pack, so he had nothing to lose, right, John Kernan?
You're exactly right, Ned. What happened with Morgan, he missed a gear going into the turn, so trying to slow it down with the engine, he was able to do that when he missed the gear, put on the brakes, couldn't get the car slowed down enough, and consequently he went off the race course. They decided to bring him in. Like you said, they had nothing to lose. They were back at the pack anyway, so they came in and put on 4 fresh tires and sent Morgan out. Remember, they finished second in last year's race.
And now he is in 29th position as the red flag is out, and the sun-baked crowd takes a break from the action on the racetrack. And here it is from the perspective that we have right there at the TV compound. Rick Mast going in, hitting with the back of the car first and then spinning completely around and just destroying the car and doing some damage to the guardrail over there. Now, we were talking about Morgan Shepherd, and here's what happened to him.
He's just cruising along, and there you can hear him. He misses the gear, and there he goes out into the grass. But he keeps it in a relatively straight way, Bob, and does not spin around, and as a result, he was able to keep it away from that guardrail.
And Dr. Jerry Punch is with Kyle Petty.
And Kyle's still sitting in the mellow yellow Pontiac. They've asked the drivers to stay in the car, and Kyle's obliged. Kyle, after winning this thing a year ago, you've had a few problems at the beginning here.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is. It's hard to tell whether it's ignition or whether maybe we've closed up a plug or something. And, you know, man, you're hard on these things. You over-rev them. I probably might have broke a valve spring or something. So it's just one of those days. I'd like to say hello to Stanley Smith and hope he's feeling a whole lot better. But it's just one of those days right now.
Kyle Petty sitting here. The crews cannot work on the cars. A number of cars sitting here in the pits, including the Bojangles Ford Thunderbird of Derek Cope. We might mention that Stanley Smith is still in the hospital at Caraway Methodist Medical Center down in Birmingham, Alabama. I spoke to his son, Brett, this morning, and Brett had some very good news to pass along to the many millions of fans around the country who have been asking about the condition of the Chelsea, Alabama driver. Apparently, Stanley was transferred out of the neuro-intensive care unit to a private room on Friday. That's wonderful news. He has been able to stand with some help, moving his right arm and right leg. He apparently will still have some operative procedures to do in the next few days, next few weeks, and they have a recovery time. But Stanley is recovering, and we know that possibly Stanley is watching right now. So for all the drivers and crew members of NASCAR and the millions of fans around the country, Stanley, come back to us in a hurry. Our prayers are with you. Let's go up to the garage area where Dorsey Schrader is standing by with our John Kernan.
Well, Dorsey, looks like you guys have parked the car. One of my reports said just the toe in, but a little more serious than that, obviously.
Yeah, no, it didn't seem like it was that bad a hit, but in fact, it really did tear the car up pretty bad. We got frame damage on there. We pinched off an oil line. You know, center link's bent. We could put it back together and put it on the racetrack, but it wouldn't be a safe race car, and it would be hindering the process. The guys are winning the race, and it's not the right thing to do. It's a shame, really is. We had a good start going and got through turn 1 clean, got up on top of the hill, had a run down into the inner loop and passed a couple cars, and everything looked according to plan. We turned in there, and about 2 rows up, I saw a bunch of guys getting together under braking, and I guess it turned the Bojangles car sideways, and he got hit by about 2 people. I couldn't go to the left, so I went to the right and took to the grass. And for a minute, I thought I was going to make it, but, you know, Bojangles car got hit by somebody again, pushed right in front of us. And, you know, it's a tough deal. It's a really bad thing. I wanted to be able to talk to the audience from inside that race car today, and they gave us a real good race car. Country Time Ford was a competent car. I think we had a real good race car. just wasn't our day. We got in somebody else's wreck, and that's unfortunately what can happen in an interloop type of situation. It's safer on the long run, but it tangles everybody up sometimes, and if you got nowhere to go, you got nowhere to go. So,
you know, we were looking forward to hearing from you today in the race car, and you're supposed to be working the Trans Am race with us up at Des Moines. We got flooded out there. Maybe I can talk him into letting you go up to the booth with Bob Jenkins, because I know he's got at least one empty seat up there.
Well, you know he needs the help, too, so...
Thanks, Schrader.
If he's got room for me, I'll be right up.
All right, back to you, Bob.
Well, the cars have begun moving again as the red period has ended, and we're just a few minutes away from a resumption of this Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race after an accident involving Rick Mast.
Store Cable has a great way for you to beat the heat in August. Introducing our Keep Cool with Pay-Per-View sale. If you order any two of these great movies on Viewer's Choice in August, you'll get your third Viewer's Choice movie absolutely free. Look for this coupon on your cable bill guide or newspaper. If you've never ordered a pay-per-view movie, you can get your first movie for just 99 cents. Check your mail for this special offer. Buy two, get one free, or get your first movie for just 99 cents. Hurry! Our incredible sale melts away when August ends.
Mancini Optical, a family business since 1952. Mancini Optical has 3,000 frames to choose from. Need bifocals? You'll love No Line Omni from American Optical. Our computer-assisted lab has most selections ready in an hour. Dr. Angelo Aiello assures accurate eye exams using high-tech retinal cameras. Mancini Optical, Route 130 Delran, and our new location at Cross Keys Road in Sicklerville.
Hi, this is Paul Page. We're at Loudon, New Hampshire, where the Indy cars are now making their final preparations for this afternoon's New England 200. On the pole, it's Nigel Mansell with Raul Boisel starting alongside. More auto racing coming up later this afternoon on ESPN. Now let's send you back to Watkins Glen.
The pace car once again on the racetrack, but the lights on top of it are out as we bring you a Fram Field summary, how they're running right now. We are just moments away from a green flag and a resumption of this race. Again, we went red for just a few minutes so that the track crew could come out and put back the tires and make any repairs that were necessary at the guardrail in turn 6, where Rick Mast crashed a few minutes ago. Rick out of the car, walked away from it and into the ambulance.
This is the one thing that Martin did want to see was a caution flag, because he had a lead. And in talking to some of the crews down in the garage area this morning, Bob, they felt like they could race with Martin if they could keep him from using all the racetrack. If they were there, he had to protect his line to keep him getting past. They felt like they could race with him. But if he had a clean racetrack in front of him, could come off the corners wide, go in the corners wide, he was going to be unbeatable. So Martin definitely did not want to see this caution.
Well, you know, he told Jerry Punch in an interview that was on SportsCenter before the race came on the air that he wasn't happy with the car. And the last practice session yesterday afternoon said they didn't do anything to the car, but it wasn't nearly what he had for qualifying. But apparently is working for him now. As the green flag comes out, Rusty Wallace tries to make a move. Again, they're 3 wide as they head for you, Benny.
They're all trying to get position. Lake Speed's on the inside, and Schrader's on the inside. Earnhardt goes by him on the outside, makes the pass. Other cars coming through. So far, so good. Now they fall back in line.
Good move by Dale Earnhardt passing up on the outside. But Mark Martin, you can see he has already pulled away as they come through the S's and hit that 4th gear and get up to 165 or so miles an hour before they start braking into the interloop. There's Rusty Wallace looking at Ken Schrader, but couldn't quite make a pass. You see Ernie Irvin down on the inside. He's trying to make a pass coming in there. He falls back in line, though. Mark Martin with about a 7 or 8 car length lead as they head off of turn 5.
Yeah, and once again, we're seeing Mark Martin just inch ahead of the others. Now we ride with Morgan Shepherd. That's Ted Musgrave up ahead in the Jasper Engines U.S. Airport. Morgan going to the inside and making the pass.
And really he made the pass because he hadn't been turned sideways yet. So, yeah, we see him. He's already made the pass. And
so is Joe Nemechek.
Yeah, Nemechek is Joe Nemechek making his 2nd Winston Cup start. That is his own car. Sponsored by Cintas, uniform people.
And here is another road racing expert, Tom Kendall, in the Family Channel Ford.
Tom didn't qualify nearly as well as he had had hoped to. He had a little problem over one of the turns or whatnot, but he felt pretty comfortable going into the race.
Again, one of those drivers who is called upon for road racing because of his experience in IMSA and SCCA competition on this racetrack. There's a foot cam. You can see he's got it buried.
Now he's just hitting the brake with his left foot. You know, he's got a manual transmission, but as you notice, he's not using the clutch to shift the thing. He's using the Jericho transmission and not shifting. Playing with the throttle. There he's going through right in front of you then.
Yep, right through turn 5.
He's in 21st position. Here is Jeff Bodine, who is running 10th.
Coming up on Bill Elliott. Elliott has dropped back to a couple of positions.
Jeff Bodine, of course, has bought the assets of Alan Kulwicki Racing, the number 7 car. Will own it, owns it right now, actually. The deal was closed recently. Down the main straightaway, looking for turn number 1. This is the suspension cam.
Well, the shock absorber gets a lot of work out. And the tires as well.
We can see him turning the car, turning the car. It's unbelievable how the thing, when it's almost going straight, how much travel the shock has.
And, of course, the brakes were glowing as he was braking coming into the interlude. That's probably the place where they brake the most on this racetrack because that's the highest part speed on the track. And then, of course, they get into the slowest part of the racetrack there. So the brakes really take the challenge coming into that turn.
2 red Fords moving together on the racetrack. Bill Elliott, followed by Jeff Bodine. Here's the leader, Mark Martin.
And we can see that Mark Martin and Blake Speed is pulled away from Dale Earnhardt by, what is that, 15, 20 car length, Bob?
Yeah, at least that much.
Here they come directed towards me. There's Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Kenny Schrader, and we see Ernie Irvin trying to look on the inside of Schrader. Schrader doesn't know he's there, and wisely Ernie hit the brakes, backed off. Now he's going to try it again as they exit turn 1, and he has position, takes his spot away. Now then they're going to have to turn the other way. Schrader will have position. What's going to happen there? Labonte gets by as well, gets by Schrader.
And here's Jeff Gordon really making a move up through there. I watched him yesterday in practice behind Mark Martin, and he really looked strong. That's Jeff Gordon we're talking about, the rookie. Coming into the interloop there right now. Got a lot of cars on his bumper as he comes out through there. Of course, the car immediately on his bumper is that of Bill Elliott.
Then Jeff Bodine, Dale Jarrett, Ricky Rudd.
Harry Gant having a good run there in the Stoll Fancy car right behind Rudd. Then comes Rick Wilson. Rick Wilson has moved up good, Bob. He started back in 23rd position in the Richard Petty car, and now what, running about 14th?
That's exactly right, yep. And Dallenbach has recovered somewhat from that earlier spin and moved up right behind him in 15th.
Rick Wilson, is he a road racer?
Well,
evidently he is.
He sure is.
Doing a great job. There.
John Kernan, what can you tell us about him?
Well, I was talking with Robbie Loomis, the crew chief, earlier today, checking up on his birthday. Some information I got said he had just turned 45. Actually, he told me he had just turned 29. He also had a big smile. He said he was very satisfied. They hit on something yesterday afternoon, a combination with the engine, the springs, everything in the car, and Rick really liked the way it felt, and they were looking to run really well today. In fact, Robbie says, hey, a top 10 finish for us would be almost like winning the race.
And Benny, 2 positions behind him, Bobby Labonte in the Maxwell House car, and he locked him up there in front of you, didn't he?
He did lock him up. He was trying to get inside of Wally Dallenbach and took a look, and when Dallenbach came down, Bobby had to lock the brakes up to keep him from getting in the back of Wally, so hence you saw all the smoke. Harry Gant also locked him up as he came down in turn 1, just in front of Bobby Labonte. There we see Rick Wilson once again, the STP car.
This is the tightest group of cars we're watching right here. And Rick Wilson is right in the middle of about a 7 or 8 car group. There's 4 or 5 in front of him, and there's Wally Dallenbach and Bobby Labonte behind him. But all those cars running very close together.
Here they come once again, directed towards me. These cars are driving straight towards my position. There we see Bodine, Dale Jarrett. Once again, Bobby Labonte looks on the inside, and there's a snapshot of Rick Wilson. We can see he started 23rd. He's currently running 14th. He was 13th. 23rd was his lowest position. And so far, Rick hasn't led a lap.
No one else has except Mark Martin.
That's right. Exactly. We can put 0 by everyone except Mark Martin.
That's right. But I'll tell you, Lake Speed's staying up pretty close to him, Benny. They're going through turn 5 here now, and Lake is only about 8 or 10 car lengths behind him. They're pulling away from Dale Earnhardt, as you mentioned earlier. There,
and look at all that. Where'd all that dust come from, Neil?
Well, I don't know if some was kicked up there during the accident. They probably put down some quick dry or something there when Rick Mast went over that particular area. Of course, Earnhardt has a tendency to sort of get off on the dirt.
Yeah,
some of these curves.
I watched several cars go through that area yesterday after the final practice period, and most of them do get the left side tires off the track and kick up a little dust in that area. Here is Mark Martin leading Lake Speed with 17 laps completed out of 90 in the Bud at the Glen. Mark Martin has led every lap so far. A sellout crowd on hand here at Watkins Glen for the Bud at the Glen. Back in a moment.
Announcing the biggest advance in Quaker State history. It's Quaker State's new advanced high-tech formula motor oil. It gives your engine superior protection against wear, superior protection against heat and stress, superior cleaning power. Protect your car's engine with new advanced Quaker State motor oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.
This is a new car. I'd be crazy not to use Quaker State.
In IndyCar racing, when it rains, we don't race on super speedways. But we're running this IndyCar on Goodyear Eagles to prove a point about wet traction, cornering, and stopping. What's the point? These are not Goodyear Racing Eagles. They're Eagle GSC street radials with dual tread design for outstanding traction in the dry and in the wet. Eagle GSC street radials only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less will be uncivilized.
John Olerud continues his quest for 400. Toronto continues its quest for the AL East title. The Blue Jays battle the Brewers tonight, live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Rick Wilson was having a good run. It has come to a screeching halt here as he spins and hits the inside guardrail between turns 1 and 2. He was running 14th, but has lost several positions. Benny, did you see it?
It looked like Bobby Labonte was trying to get inside of Rick as he came down in turn 1, and he did not make the pass. And yeah, as we're coming off the corner, here comes, yeah, that's Bobby Labonte on the inside. And Rick, I don't know, maybe he just got the car out of shape, or maybe Bobby Labonte touched him. I really don't know. And I'm told that Lake Speed, the second-place car, just spun.
Speaking of guys who were having good runs, Lake Speed has crashed right up here at the head of the main straightaway, turn number 7. He's driving away, but look at him losing the track positions. Here he is going into turn number 7. This is right here at the pit entrance. The car just getting out from under him and sliding through the grass. He didn't hit anything.
No, he didn't, Bob, and it looked like he might have hit some oil or something, a slick spot on the racetrack there, because the back end just went out from under without warning.
Here
Take a look at it from another angle.
Yeah, this is from the camera down at turn 1 where Benny is looking up the straightaway. And he just gets on the brakes and stops it in time to avoid hitting the rail.
Let's try it again in real time as he comes in the corner. Good job not hitting anything.
Boy, I tell you.
Now, guys, while all that was going on, when they came by me just now, the leaders, Dale Earnhardt was out front. Did Mark Martin slow down, figuring there was going to be a caution? Is there a caution?
Yes, there is.
Okay, well, Earnhardt's out front. I don't know if he passed him after he went by the start-finish line or what, but he's looking for those 5 bonus points for leading a lap.
Yeah, off the 7th corner, taking the caution flag. So now the pace car will come in. Rusty Wallace third, and once again, Dale Earnhardt picks up those 5 bonus points.
Mark Martin is passing him. What he's saying to Earnhardt, look, the caution flag was out when we came by the last time.
Ah, okay.
Well, Earnhardt's saying, I didn't see it. So let's get back out here. NASCAR will figure it out, rest assured.
And that's right. Earnhardt said, let me, I'm going to lead the lap. Let NASCAR figure out who gets those 5 bonus points.
What do you think, guys? 21 laps completed, pit stops? Here is Mark Martin slowing, coming through the S's, and Earnhardt didn't.
No, he just drove right on by. Now, whether Mark had gotten the caution flag when he came by, I don't know.
It's almost like his crew was telling him, slow down and let the pace car catch you, is what it, I mean, he is going so slow.
He is.
Earnhardt went by him like he was stopped.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to check with the crew and see if the car maybe has a problem or why he slowed so suddenly, but we're going to take a break right now as we're under our 2nd caution.
When 280 seemed out of reach, it's Joe Amato and Autolite who punch it. The wall goes to 290. Connie Coletta and Autolite smash it. 300, the barrier. Kenny Bernstein and Autolite shatter it. Autolite and the record breakers. Wow, I feel good. We feel pretty good about that.
Diamond Crystal knows there's nothing like pure, clear water. That's why Diamond Crystal makes some of the most advanced water softener salts you can buy. Make your water special with Diamond Crystal.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's so plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and me. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Come on and head for the mountains of Bush. Here.
We are still under caution, and look at the activity as the green flag is waved, indicating the pits are open. And man, oh man, I don't think there's a single car that's staying out. Everybody coming in for a pit stop here with 22 laps completed.
And Bob, 35 miles per hour. That's the speed limit on pit road.
It's a tight pit area here at Watkins Glen. Here is Mark Martin's pit stop, and Jerry punches there.
We would expect to see 4 tires change on many of the teams here today. Right side tires going on Mark Martin's car. Likewise, other cars here being serviced. The crew not going around to the left side of the car. Now, what Mark Martin said a minute ago as you're watching the action up and down pit road is that he saw the lights on the safety car down in turn 2 as Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace go by, and they are racing down to turn 1. Mark Martin is next to Terry Labonte, Dale Jarrett, and a host of others led by Jeff Bonine and Bill Elliott. Again, what Mark Martin said happened when he came through turns 1 and 2. He looked and thought he saw the pace car coming out with the lights on. That's why he abruptly slowed down, and that, of course, let Dale Earnhardt go by. Mark thought he had got to watch the yellow flag, the caution flag, because the pace car was coming out. And he was trying to slow down to get behind the pace car. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Earnhardt was able to go by and apparently lead a lap. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Jerry, I'm up in Lake Speed's pit. He came in, took on 4 tires. They checked around the car. There was no damage to the car. Lake had radioed in right after that incident coming out of the last turn. He told the crew, he said, guys, I just simply overdrove it into the turn and got myself into trouble. And Larry McReynolds said right back to him, said, Lake, spin, crash, win or lose, we are all in this together.
I had a really interesting conversation with Lake yesterday, and one thing I like about him, he's realistic and he knows what the score is, and he told me quite frankly that this is a #1 team and they need a #1 driver, and he's the best available right now when I asked him what the plans were for 1994. But as you indicated, John, it would appear as if that perhaps there's going to be somebody else in that car for 94.
Well, that's exactly right. It looks like right now it's Ernie Irvan. But getting back to Lake Speed, he told me this morning, he said, you know, the #1 thing that I've got to try and do today with this ride, it's a top ride, one of the best in all of Winston Cup racing. I've got to drive it like it's my car. I got to forget that it's not the '83 car. He says, I can't look at the number or the color or who used to drive this car. He says, I have to drive this car like it is my car. And, you know, a lot of guys who hop in situations like this kind of baby the cars, just try to take care of them and just try to finish races. Well, Lake is going to be out there trying to win every race he's entered in.
Here's Bobby Labonte, and he's showing some damage there at the left corner of that car.
Yeah, that's when he and Rick Wilson got together. Rick was spinning in front of him, and he hit him, and yes, there is some damage there. There were some drivers that lost a lot of track position on this pit stop. One of them is Kent Schrader, who's back in the field, and Jeff Gordon, both of those drivers far back in the field.
And we're set to go back to green. The pace car comes in, the green waves, and we're back to racing. Now a battle for second as Mark Martin gets to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Who's going to win the battle at turn 1?
It's a matter of brakes, and it looks like Mark Martin has a little bit better brake. He gets by Rusty Wallace now, sets his side, spins on the outside. And Jarrett spins. He has to watch all the field go by as he tries to get his car in position, but he can't just simply pull out in front of all these cars. Now he's backing up. As all the cars go by now, he has to try to catch the field, Ned.
He lost a lot of time coming in there. You can see all of them dipping down to the inside. Don't know if he and Jeff Bodine might have got together just a little bit there, and it sent Jared around down on the inside.
And although it was just 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, look at the track position that he lost. From Bodine's in-car camera, we'll see if they got together. Oh, yeah.
They definitely did get together, Ned. Little tap on the right rear quarter, and around goes Dale Jarrett. Tough break for him as Mark Martin closes in on the back of Dale Earnhardt. This is a left-hander, turn 6. And Ernie Irvan trying to get by Bill Elliott, makes the pass. Heading towards turn 7 and the start-finish line.
Here they come. It's Earnhardt, Martin, Wallace, Labonte, Bodine, Ernie Irvan, and Ricky Rudd challenging Bill Elliott for the next spot.
Rudd's on the inside of Elliott. Beats him down in the corner. And Ernie Irvan smoked the left front tires. He came down in here.
Looks like Wally Dallenbach is also moving up from his spin.
He looks like he is running a lot better now than he did earlier.
And here come the leaders into the inner loop. You can see those cones there that separate where they used to go into the inner loop. Of course, if they go through there and don't take that turn, it's a stop-and-go penalty. So that would be much more time lost than they would gain if they went straight. So they all try to make that inner loop.
There's the serial on Ernie Irvan. Started 12th, was quickly up to 9th, and has now moved to 6th position at the end of 24 laps.
This is the corner here where Rick Mast crashed a moment ago.
We have some reports that there may be smoke from the 5 car. We'll watch it closely. Don't see any. May have been tire smoke. Now.
Here's Mark Martin.
Yep.
Looking on the inside. It's a drag race down in the corner. Martin has position and takes the position away. Now Earnhardt, will he try to come back?
I don't think so. I don't think he can, Benny.
He'll have to follow Mark Martin up to turns 2. This is 2. Up the hill, the left-hander is turn 3, and a spin down in turn 1.
Oh, Morgan Shepherd and P.J. Jones involved.
And other cars taking evasive action. P.J. is sitting directly in the middle of the racetrack. And here come 2 cars side by side. Terry Cope almost met him head on. Now he and Morgan are going to meet again, Morgan's car, he gets his car rolling. He's back on the racetrack.
But this meeting's had enough now. Let's just get it going the other way.
Here's a replay.
From another angle coming down in turn 1. There's P.J. on the inside of Oh, he's on the inside of Davey Allison, and he gets on the inside of Morgan, but Morgan evidently didn't realize he was there. Or looked like maybe PJ was going a little bit too fast to keep the car down without getting in the side of Morgan. Here he is. What is this, about 3 abreast, 4 abreast? Yes, Morgan did not realize he was there. They get together, around they go. And very fortunate, no one else hit them.
Now, how about from the in-car camera? Morgan Shepherd.
Yes, you see he's driving to the inside of the racetrack for the preferred groove, and all of a sudden there came the 9.
So, after that little incident up there in turn 6, or turn 1 rather, no full course caution. We are still under green. And we are completing 26 laps at the Bud at the Glen.
Imagine this is a sidewall of a tire. The whole idea is to keep the tread area in level contact with the road, or you'll lose traction, especially in cornering. Now, Goodyear has learned a lot in NASCAR racing and applied that knowledge to Eagle's street radials. In cornering, there's a lot of force trying to lift the tire, but Goodyear Eagle's racing-inspired sidewall design works to hold the tire firmly to the road. Eagle radials, only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
This is your world, genuine and true, working together in all that you do, and you're giving it your best. Proud to be your bud, Budweiser. Proud to be your bud. Proud to be your bud. Ooh, yeah. Proud to be your. Proud to be your bud.
Oil. It's the lifeblood of your engine. That makes your oil filter your engine's most vital organ. That's why Fram keeps going the extra mile to make the best protection even better. The Fram Extra Guard oil filter. Unique glass fiber paper stops more dirt than any other filter for the best protection ever. Fram Extra Guard. American or import, it's an extra lease on life.
After 25 of 90 laps, it's Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, and Jeff Bodine, the top 5 in the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race. And the Blockbuster video blimp is one of the few internally lit airships currently in use around the world. The Blockbuster video blimp based in Orlando, Florida, and the pilot is Terry Dillard from Orlando, and it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Terry. A big day of racing here on ESPN. Following our coverage of this stock car race, we're off to Loudon, New Hampshire International Speedway, and the New England 200 for the Indy cars. That's at 3:30 Eastern Time, next on ESPN. Mark Martin continues to lead this race. In his last 4 events here at Watkins Glen, he has been a 2nd, 5th, 3rd, and 4th. Faree slides off course, doesn't hit anything, keeps going. Again, that's a turn 6.
And Bob, you mentioned that Jeff Bodine was running in 5th. No longer. He spun out over here in the interloop the last time around, lost a lot of positions. We'll take a look at it as from his in-car camera as he comes into the interloop. Let's see what happens as he comes in there. Nothing in front of him there. He's already spinning around. Ricky Rudd goes by. Someone could have tapped him maybe from behind, but he was running in the 5th position.
Here's another angle of it, and yeah, Ernie was trying to pass him.
Ooh, wow, Ernie got way up on that curb, didn't he, Ned?
He really did. Got those right wheels on that curbing, and it bounced him right into Jeff Bodine and sent Bodine spinning out through the grass. Ernie goes on.
Man, oh man.
No contact with Jeff Bodine. Here is Todd Bodine's car in the pits. It looks like it's all over for him this afternoon. John?
Yeah, Bob, it's a broken camshaft for Todd Bodine. The car just quit out on the racetrack. He coasted back in. He was looking today just to go out right around a learning curve. This is his first race with the Raylock team. He took over for Dick Trickle. This event, he'll run that car the rest of the year and take over it full time for next season. He said the rest of the season he's just going to learn, try to get used to the crew. But what a disappointment he is today.
And so next year we will have 3 Bodine brothers running full-time in Winston Cup competition. Earnhardt Earnhardt second, Wallace is third, and Terry Labonte fourth. Ricky Rudd running in fifth spot.
Yeah, those first 4 cars have pulled away from Rudd just a little bit. There's Ernie Irvin in 6th place, and Bill Elliott 7th. Brett Bodine is 8th, Jimmy Spencer in 9th, and Harry Gant 10th.
And now we see Lake Speed in the Haviland Ford, and I guess when P.J. Jones and Morgan Shepherd got together in turn 1 a moment ago, I said Davey Allison. And folks, fans, I'm sorry. You know, I look at that 28 car, and right away I think that Davey Allison, and it is Lake Speed.
And there isn't a single person that doesn't wish it was Davey Allison. Here's a Fran Field summary for you, showing the position of the cars last lap. Good run going for him. Not thought of as a road course racer, but he's in the top 10.
I talked to Charlie Preston, the crew chief, this morning, and Scott Robinette, some of the guys on the crew, and they really felt like they had a good race car, one of the best race cars they've had on a road course in a long, long time. As we watch Lake Speed go directly in front of me down through turn 1 and try to chase down Tommy Kendall in the Family Channel Ford.
34 cars are on the lead lap. Tom Kendall and the Family Channel Ford, car number 7.
It looks like Kyle Petty's car right behind Lake Speed is running a little bit better. Looks like he may have some of his problems fixed, because I don't think he can stay there on 7 cylinders.
Yeah, he's coming through the interloop here now and appears to be running pretty good. Certainly getting through the corners well. Jerry, what did they do to the car?
Well, Ned, they changed the spark plug, changed the ignition, changed the coil, changed about everything except the engine and Kyle in the car. They said Kyle said the car was still missing intermittently, and it's not back to where it should be. It's about a half a second slower than what they thought they could run a lap, but it's much better than it was in the early laps.
Never seen Lake Speed. It's called Tommy Kendall in the Alan Kowicki Ford, or Jeff Bodine Ford, or Family Channel Ford, whichever you want to call it.
This is 13th, 14th, and 15th we're watching here.
Dallenbach comes down to me, turns right. Fortunately, he turns right. You know, Bob, if these guys ever go straight, I'm in trouble.
You sure are. You better watch your stuff up there and make sure you're alert.
I'm about 10 feet off the ground, and you know I don't like heights.
Don't take any naps down there.
This is the best battle on the racetrack right now as Lake Speed tries his best to overtake. Going down that straightaway. See if he's got enough power. Can he outbrake Kendall? Coming to you, Ned.
Yeah, he's down on the inside. I think Kendall let him go. He did indeed. Let him go in to the turn first. Got down in single file, so everything is okay. Now Kyle Petty is right behind the 7 car, and he wants to try to make that pass. As we look out the windshield of Tommy Kendall at Lake Speed, as Lake begins to pull away a little bit.
A dog cam as Benny calls it, looking back on Kyle. Oh, and Ricky Rudd crashes.
That's up in turn 6 again, looks to me like.
It is indeed. And he is back hard into those tires, but it looks like he's going to pull away, so there might not be a caution.
Yeah, there's rear end damage to say the least, but the car is movable, and therefore, and he's not too far away from the pits. In fact, right there at the yellow mark is the entrance to the pits, and here's how it happened. Again, it was very similar to Rick Mast, but the car wasn't going quite as fast, it looks like, or else he was able to slow down considerably before contact with the guardrail.
Bob, it looks like he has brakes. It looks like he missed the corner, and he has brakes. He's able to get the car slowed a little bit. Rick Mast in that Skull Osmo Ford that he crashed, I can't believe he had any brakes at all, because the car just never slowed down.
Benny, in that replay, did you see how Rudd, he drove that car, he spun that car backwards, as we see Ricky Rudd coming into the pits. Here's Jeff Bodine in the pits as well. But let's go to John Kerner. Maybe we can see that replay again, and I'll tell you what we're talking about.
Jeff Bodine is in for a 4-tire change. Left's already on, right side's going on. He wanted to pit immediately after spinning because the cars just didn't feel right. They told him, make it 4 more laps. We can go the rest of the way with just 1 more stop and put us in sync with everyone else.
So the Motorcraft Ford going back out onto the racetrack.
Oh, a crash. Ed Farias hit the wall down in turn 2. Sound like he blew a tire or something. I heard a boom, and I looked down, and Ed Farias hit the wall and was going across the racetrack. He now has come to a halt.
Left side damage to the car, but he comes to a halt by hitting the right side. Jerry?
And Ricky Ricky Rudd sitting on pit road. You can see the damage to the Tide Chevrolet. Now, Ricky said that suddenly the brake pedal went away. So, being the experienced road racer he is, he turned the car to back it into the wall rather than hitting it with the front of the car and shoving the motor back, which would end their day. He figured they could fix the sheet metal. Right now, they looked at the brakes, looked at the max cylinder, and now the crew, Eddie Dickerson and the company, working on the rear of the car, trying to use some tape to pull the sheet metal together and get Ricky back on the course.
Two-time winner here at Watkins Glen in 1988 and in 1990.
Let's take a look again at Ricky Rudd coming there, and you can see the smoke there. He was trying to get the car slowed down. And right here, he spins the car around, and watch the right rear wheel. He has gone heavy on the gas, trying to pull it back forward, and he backed that car in rather than driving it in there, and had the presence of mind to continue to accelerate so that he could pull that car forward and lessen the impact as much as he could.
That's pretty good, Ned, because I definitely don't want to see what I'm going to hit.
Full course caution is out.
And Jeff Bodine passed Mark Martin. He has his lap back, so he's changed 4 tires. He probably will stay out on the course when all these guys stop. He probably will be leading the race after the caution flag is over.
Pace car pulls out, and Dorsey Schrader has joined us in the booth. I don't know whether I should say I'm glad to see you or not after what you said about me.
It wasn't a terrible thing I said about you.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Not really glad to be here, but glad to be here in general. Short day for us, but it's a good race going on.
Dorsey, we've seen so many crashes up in turn 6. What's going on up there?
Well, that racetrack up in that area, you know, it's the hardest part to get a car to balance through there. You start in there, you want to drive in there deep, and then the car's either going to get loose or it's going to be tight. You got to keep on and off the throttle down that hill. It's been slippery all weekend up there, and, you know, it's just, you got to bide your time, and you never do that corner right. It never feels like you did that corner right, even if you have.
Well, there's Ed Ferree's car as we have a shot of it from the Blockbuster video blimp. That's the reason for the full course caution that has come out here for the 3rd time. And the top 10 now, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte, and Ernie Irvan. And the second 5, Elliott, Bodine, Gant, Spencer, and Marlin.
In today's world, it's survival of the fittest, and you can stay on top of things with Store Cable. CNN provides complete information on health, money, science, and diet. And the Weather Channel prepares you for each day, plus presents storm safety tips and conservation information. Find out what's going on in the 90s with Store Cable. We make you feel at home.
Hey, batter. At Grand Slam USA, we'll sharpen up your skills in our state-of-the-art batting cages. They deliver accurate, adjustable speed pitches, and our instructors are pitching and hitting specialists. Equipment? Our pro shop is loaded with top-quality gear and expert salespeople. There's even a snack bar. Softball, too. So, make your next hit at a Grand Slam USA near you. Come to Grand Slam USA in Mount Laurel, 866-2077.
IndyCar Thrills on ESPN. ESPN's racing team brings you so close you can feel the speed, sense the danger, hear the excitement. When the world goes racing, there's only one place to be, ESPN. Today, it's off to New Hampshire for the New England 200. The green flag flies at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Under our 3rd caution, pit road. Once again, very busy. John Kernan.
Terry Labonte, your 4th place car is in. He's pitting near the entrance of pit road. The left sides are already on. Right sides are going on. Labonte sitting, waiting patiently. He is down. Let's go further down pit road. Mark Martin's pitting. Jerry Funch.
And what a break for these guys. They'll be able to make it now on one more pit stop. They pitted 10 laps ago, but they can go 30 laps. So at lap 32, they pit again on lap 62, and it's clear sailing to the checkered flag. Right side tires already on the Valvoline Ford. Left side tires going on. Sitting in front of him is a race back down pit road. That's Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt now moving down. And it's a scramble back for 3rd, 4th. It's like Terry Labonte, and then Mark Martin as they head back for turn 1.
And the same thing happens this time as last time. Rusty tried desperately to get out ahead of Dale Earnhardt, but didn't do so.
And I tell you what, it had to be by a foot. Whoever won the battle, it was just by inches. and Rusty was gassing the thing, got it sideways as he left pit road, trying to beat that 3 Goodrich Chevrolet.
They just went by the scene of that accident involving Ed Ferree. He is out of the car and okay. And Jerry Punch has another report.
We mentioned Ricky Rudd had a brake pedal go away when he went in to turn up there. What happened, they found on pit road, was a brake bleeder valve opened up, and Ricky just pushed the fluid out of the brakes, and he had no brakes. Well, you can imagine it all happens in a couple of seconds. The crew marvels at how ingenious Ricky was to be able to think in a split second, turn the car away from the wall, back it in the wall, save the race car, save the engine, and possibly save the afternoon here at Watkins Glen in less than a second and a half.
Well, Jerry, you know what? That was one of the best saves I've seen in many, many years. He did everything perfect there. He was really heady driver. Spun that race car out and then put it in gear and just started accelerating the car, keeping it out of the tire wall. That was going to be a big hit. He saved that race car.
And there's Dale Jarrett, who's moving very slowly on the racetrack. John Kernan is on his way to see what the problem is, possibly a transmission. Is that what you're telling us, John?
Well, Bob, what it looks like it is, he may have burned up the transmission. That's what he's radioed in and told Jimmy Maycar. This is not going to be a good thing for the points battle. You know, Dale Earnhardt is running near the front. DJ had that problem early on whenever he and the 15 car got together, trying to work his way through the field. And now it looks like he may be having transmission problems. We'll check it out and get right back with you.
234 points separated Dale from Dale Earnhardt, the leader of the Winston Cup point standings going into this event. So, yeah, if he can't complete any more laps, it will be a major setback in his hope to win the Winston Cup. Now, the 15 car of Jeff Bodine is the leader of the race. He almost went a lap down, but the caution flag came out, and it saved that situation.
Bob, as Jeff Bodine was exiting the pit, the caution flag came out, and Mark Martin passed him. Now they're going down the back straightaway. This is towards, where is this? Turn?
Up through the S's, I believe.
I guess this is going towards Ned, as they head towards Ned Jarrett. He gets in front of Mark Martin. Now, he has 4 fresh tires and a full tank of gas. There's no need for him to pit. He stayed on the racetrack while all the rest of them went in the pits. He stayed out. He went from a lap down to leading the race. They say timing is everything. I believe it.
I can talk to you about that.
Yes.
So we're under caution once again here at Watkins Glen. Jeff Bodine has the lead with Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, and Terry Labonte.
Where you see a close encounter, Ford sees a way to make braking safer for you. Where you see a crowded corner, Ford sees ways to make cornering more secure. It's why we race. Every time you see Ford take home another trophy, Ford has seen ways to win something far more important: every driver's confidence. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Crystal knows there's nothing like pure, clear water. That's why Diamond Crystal makes some of the most advanced water softener salts you can buy. Make your water special with Diamond Crystal.
We're watching driver Hut Strickland test the McDonald's car. Hey, guys, what keeps Hut going?
McDonald's coffee, Jack. Hut loves the stuff.
McDonald's coffee, really?
Yep. Hut loves those sausage biscuits, too. What? They're only 79 cents.
Hey, he's pulling off.
Yeah, he's out of coffee.
What you want is what you get.
You want a sausage biscuit or anything?
At McDonald's today.
Bob Murphy finished birdie en route to a 3-under par 69. He's at 8-under par, 1 shot off the lead. 17 golfers within 5 shots of our co-leaders. Join our ESPN golf team for final round live coverage at 5:30 Eastern Time today.
We're back at Watkins Glen International, where repairs are going on to the guardrail once again. There's the big dent that was put into it by Ed Ferree's contact with it, and so we are still awaiting a resumption of this race. And there is Ed Ferree's car that's on the back of a wrecker and headed down toward the garage area. Dale Jarrett pulled behind the wall. John?
Well, at first what I thought might have happened, you know, they run a cooler on these transmissions. I thought that what you see these road courses is the belt that runs the pump to the cooler will get knocked off, so the transmission burns up. That's not what happened. Whenever he dropped the clutch, leaving the pits on that last pit stop, something happened, and it just would not go any further as far as shifting the gears. The clutch, I guess, is what you could say is burned out. So these guys will go to work right now. They'll have to change the transmission. We talked about the points, about Earnhardt's points lead. You know, that's why you've seen these guys going to work into this really hot car changing the transmission. They want to get back out. They've seen a lot of cars wrecked today and back here in the garage area. And so they're going to hopefully get back out in a little while and maybe pick up a couple extra positions.
The top 5 in points going into this race: Rusty Wallace 3rd, Morgan Shepherd 4th, and Mark Martin 5th in the point standings. Jerry Punch.
We've been watching some incredible races off of pit road here at Watkins Glen, but you ought to be seeing what happens here in the pit. Some amazing pit stops by the 2 car, the 42 car, and of course Earnhardt's 3 team, the Goodrich team. I just spoke with Richard Childress a minute ago. He said, you know, you guys in the radio and television have been talking about how good the 6 car is in the pits, how good the 2 car team is, and the 42. So we took it personally. We said we went back, we practiced and practiced. We wanted to show everybody we can be the best again, and maybe today is our day.
Well, it could be, but right now there has been considerable discussion as to whether Jeff Bodine is leading this race, and we now have absolute confirmation he is the leader of the race. Jeff Bodine will be in front when we go back to green, hopefully in just a few moments at Watkins Glen.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? For their race cars and their own cars, Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics, from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
What does it take to be a mountain man? Do you need a big horse? Do you need a deep tan? Do you have to have a saddle? Do you have to have the gear? Well, the simple truth is you just gotta have the beer.
Bush beer, an easy drinking Bush Light. Have you got what it takes to be a mountain man?
What does it take to live a mountain man's life? If smooth Bush beer is a drinking Bush Light.
With its cool new look and refreshing new lines, the new Ford Ranger Splash is the first and only compact flare side, the 1993 Ford Ranger Splash. Start making some waves.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? For their race cars and their own cars, Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics, from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Allied Signals Autolite Spark Plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. The Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race is about to go back to green. Here they are. Jeff Bodine is the leader. Dale Earnhardt second. A battle for third between Rusty Wallace and Terry Labonte and Mark Martin.
Martin's on the inside of Labonte, all the rest of them in line. But Labonte comes down, they get to the corner side by side, but Martin has to fall back in line. There we see Lake Speed, the 28 car. He's back in the top 10, and Harry Gant looking on the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Meanwhile, looks like all the cars got through here A-OK.
Well, I tell you, an 18-second pit stop for the Robert Yates crew has put Lake Speed back out there in good track position, as we see Mark Martin trying to make a move again on Terry Labonte as they break for the interlude here. He's going to get the position. Labonte lets him move in there single file. So that that moves Martin up into 4th place. Jeff Bodine leads him down into turn 5. Earnhardt right on his back bumper. Everyone getting through here very nicely this time, Bob.
Martin strong, isn't he, Dorsey?
Well, I tell you what, he is some kind of road racer. He's been showing us all day. That qualifying run says it all. I tell you what, they're going to have a handful of Mark Martin today.
There is Bill Elliott and Kyle Petty, and Kyle, after having problems with his car, is running well. And he didn't lose a lap through all of that pit stop activity that he made, so he's being shown in the 15th position.
Right behind Bill Elliott, the Budweiser Ford. Here they come. Here's their leader, Jeff Bodine. All the cars in line, bumper to bumper. Meanwhile, here's Sterling Marlin on the inside of Brett Bodine. They go through the corners side by side. Whoa! Sterling pulls in behind the Quaker State Ford.
Tommy Kendall bringing the Family Channel Ford in for an unscheduled pit stop.
Todd Bodine is back out on the racetrack. We put him out of the race, but he's back out there now, Bob, as we see Kendall coming into his pits, coming to a halt, as we see the action coming into the inner loop here as Dale Earnhardt really putting the pressure on Jeff Bodine. Mark Martin now has passed Rusty Wallace, moved up into 3rd, and Earnhardt now trying to make a move on Jeff Bodine.
Let's find out what's wrong with Tom Kendall. Here's Jerry.
Apparently, Tommy has radioed in and talked to Paul Andrews. He has a transmission problem. Paul is beneath the car as the car is parked at the far end of pit road. He is also going to get a penalty for exceeding the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit on pit road. It'll be a 15-second penalty, but that may be immaterial because he's lost 3rd and 4th gear, and apparently they have just put the car in gear. They reached underneath, put it in gear, and now the NASCAR official standing in front of the car. Jack Whittemore will hold him 15 seconds. 13, 14, 15, and he motioned him away as the leaders now scramble back to turn 1.
And Mark Martin goes by Earnhardt, sets his sights on Jeff Bodine. Mark Martin, the battle lead story. What a quick race car he has here this afternoon.
On any part of the racetrack, it seems to be, as they hit up through the S's now, he sets his sights on Jeff Bodine. Jeff Bodine certainly knows his way around this racetrack, grew up in this area, but I think Martin has the faster race car today as we come into the interlude. Still single file as he comes through there. Let's see if he tries to make a pass there. He looks down on the inside, but Bodine shuts the door very quickly there. So nothing doing right there. John Kernan?
A little bit of defensive driving, you might say, on Jeff Bodine's part. You know, after qualifying and practice yesterday, Jeff told me, he says, man, he says, we're not going to run very good for the hometown folks. I asked Donnie Wingo just a few minutes ago, what did you guys change in the race car this morning? He said, we didn't really change anything. He said, but we're still not good enough to hold that 6 car back. And I said, well, you know, looks like Mark's holding some of the other guys back. He said, yeah, but that 6 car was a second faster than anybody else on the last green flag session. But it looks like Jeff right now is doing a pretty good job of holding Mark off.
Can Mark Martin outbreak him? Here he comes. They're side by side in the corner. Martin backs off. Let Jeff go ahead. Jeff Bodine still maintains the lead.
I'll tell you what, Mark is working the hard braking zones. That's what he's up to. You watch him again. When he gets up there by you, Ned, for that inner loop, that's going to be the next couple of minutes. He's really good under braking. He's going to try and get inside that Ford right there in the brake zone up by you, I believe.
Yeah, that's the way you got to do it on this racetrack. There are just not many good places to pass. But here's one he found. He found a weak spot, and that's coming in here where you said, but he's not going to be able to do it. He got up beside of him, but he was on the wrong side coming into the turn, and Bodine took the route and kept the lead.
But Jeff drove a defensive line there. He didn't get Mark the inside. He said, no, you're going to pass me. You're going to do it the long way, the hard way. Mark said, okay, I'll try it. And it didn't work yet, but this thing's not over.
Let us not forget that Jeff Bodine won the road course race at Sears Point. They are side by side here at the start-finish line, Benny.
But this is on turn 6, and Mark Martin passed him on the outside. Dorsey, imagine that pass.
Boy, you got to be strong, and he's showing how strong he is right now. Dale Earnhardt moves around now and gets by Jeff Bodine.
So Bodine goes from 1st to 3rd in a matter of feet. It's now Martin, Earnhardt, Jeff Bodine, and Rusty Wallace who's trying to pass Jeff.
Rusty Wallace on the inside. They're going in the corner. Now that Jeff has lost the lead, he backs off, lets Rusty Wallace go on. Now he's got problems with Terry Labonte. The Kellogg Chevrolet is right behind that Motorcraft Ford, trying to take his spot away.
And a big puff of smoke coming from the 90 car of Bobby Hillen as he moves toward you, Benny.
Yes, it looks like Hillen has blown an engine as he came by the start-finish line. And I doubt very seriously. Look at the smoke out of the back of that car. I doubt very seriously he can get back now. If he'll just turn right and go up where the pace car is, maybe someone will push him in from there.
Well, he's doing the right thing. I think then he's trying to get that car off of the racetrack in case it's leaking oil. It blew up in a big way right here in the car.
Yeah, he has pulled off the racetrack. It is in a safe area, and the NASCAR officials are checking here from the starter stand, and they don't see any fluid on the racetrack, so we're not going to have a caution. I will also tell you that Tom Kendall has pulled the Family Channel Ford behind the wall. It's now Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, and Rusty Wallace, the first third, and Jerry Punch has more on Tom Kendall.
Tommy is sitting in the car behind the wall. Paul Andrews beneath the car. They have lost third and fourth gear. A minute ago, you saw him on pit road with Paul Andrews beneath the car. He put the car in second gear to get him back out and try to keep him losing some laps, but second gear will not get it with any speed. You just punish the motor, so they came back down pit road. They have brought him behind the wall, and now Paul Andrews and some of the Family Channel crew of the Alan Kulwicki racing team are here beneath the car trying to work on the transmission. Meanwhile, Tommy Kendall sitting in the car. The reason we're not talking to Tommy is that full face helmet. You wouldn't be able to hear what he's saying here on the far end of pit road. But Tommy told us a minute ago by shouting it was indeed only second gear in the race car. Tough break.
So he sits helplessly in the pit area, and Ken Schrader is also slowing down and letting cars pass him. There comes Jeff Gordon and Pat Strickland.
That's the outside pole sitter. Kodiak Chevrolet up Kenny Schrader. And looks like he's going slow. Now it looks like he's picking up a little bit. But not much. Here comes Darrell Waltrip, the Western Auto Chevrolet.
Not up to full speed, that's for sure.
You know, he could have that same kind of problem as Tommy. He could be wedged into one gear, stuck in fourth or stuck in third, and can't do anything about that. We'll
Could be. Here are the Bodine brothers, and the 26 car of Brett Bodine is the one that's on the move right now. He's coming up on his brother, Jeff. And
he has passed the 14 car in this last lap, Bob.
Jerry Punch has more on the 26 car.
The transmission bug has bitten Kenny Schrader in the Kodiak team. Kenny says the car is stuck in third gear, so they will try to nurse the car as much as they can, try to get it down pit road if they get an opportunity, and try to fix the transmission. But right now, it's basically just hold on and get as many laps as you can as they go by and get the halfway next time by. Schrader's just trying to ride it out and maybe get a yellow flag and come in and have a chance to work on the transmission. But right now, it's no fourth gear for the 25.
All right, that's the report on Ken Schrader as Brett Bodine now begins to feel the pressure from Lake Speed. And here is Kenny Wallace.
He's down in front of me, Bob. Got in the corner a little bit too hard. Got the Dirt Devil Pontiac down in the dirt, and away he went. And he's going to have that Dirt Devil to scoop up some dirt in the car. And I tell you what, he better use the ones he's got, because I heard that Dirt Devil will not be back in 1994.
That's correct. They have canceled the last 2 years of their contract with this team, so Dirt Devil will not be back as a sponsor in 1994. We are at the halfway point. 45 laps completed here at the Bud at the Glen, and Mark Martin is your leader. We'll be right back.
Champion, the winningest spark plug in NASCAR history. Champion.
The time has come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. It's so quick and easy, it can cut painting time in half. So get your hands on a real value, because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics, for use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
The sacks are back. The bombs are back. The blitz is back. The NFL is back on ESPN. The Raiders battle the Cowboys on an ESPN NFL preseason special. Last season, they took it all. And now the Super Bowl champion Cowboys look invincible again. But the silver and black attack of the Raiders will try to cut them down to size. Saturday night, live on ESPN.
ESPN Speed World today on hand at Watkins Glen International in New York for the NASCAR Winston Cup Bud at the Glen. Tonight on Sunday Night Baseball at 8 o'clock here on ESPN, it's the Brewers and the Blue Jays. John Olerud is only hitting .392. He and Robin Yount and the other members of the teams will be in action tonight live on ESPN. And look at this battle for the pennant in the American League East. 2 games separate the top 4 teams. Toronto, Boston 1 behind, and Baltimore and the Yankees are just 2 behind.
You can see another page to see how the Tigers are doing.
Here's the interval between the top 5. Dale Earnhardt is a 2.5 behind Mark Martin. Rusty Wallace is almost 2 seconds behind. Jeff Bodine is running 4th and 4.5 seconds to the rears, and Lake Speed has moved to 5th position.
Here they come. Rusty Wallace right on the back bumper of Earnhardt. Here we see Lake Speed once again pull up on the back bumper of Jeff Bodine.
And you got to wonder what he'd be doing if he hadn't spun and went almost to the back of the field.
Yeah, that really did hurt because he didn't catch any kind of brakes. He spun and had to pit with all the rest of the cars to come out of battle where he went in.
John Kernan has more to report on Lake Speed.
Well, according to the stopwatch, Lake may be the only car that can challenge Mark Martin. The last couple of laps that Larry McReynolds and the crew have been keeping the stopwatches busy. They've shown Lake running a ½ second a lap faster than Mark Martin. And Lake's contending with Jeff Bodine in front of him, who's driving defensively to try and keep him from going around him. So maybe Lake has the only car in the field that could possibly pass Mark Martin.
The snapshot on Lake Speed, he started 4th, currently running in 5th position, but as you can see, his lowest was 25th on the 21st lap when he spun. He has done a fine job moving up, back up toward the front of the field.
This is where he spun, just right in that spot. This time he makes it just fine. That's right at the start-finish line. It looks like Terry Labonte. Terry Labonte takes a look, but can't make the pass.
You know what he did right there? I think he missed a gear. He came out that corner. He misses upshift to 3rd. John's got something.
Well, it looks like that they have lost 3rd gear in the race car in the transmission. Larry McReynolds is busy talking to Lake right now, but that's apparently the problem. They have no 3rd gear. As soon as Larry gets off the radio with Lake, I'll check with him and see if that indeed is the problem.
How often do you use 3rd gear here, Dorsey?
Quite a lot around here. The way this racetrack is, you know, such fast corners, you're in 3rd quite a lot. You know, coming out of turn 1, you're in 2nd, then you get up to 3rd and 4th, back to 2nd, and 3rd. He has definitely lost the 3rd gear. That's why I thought I saw him come out from under that last turn there. That's right where you catch 3rd, and you saw Labonte go right by him there. So he's out of 3rd gear, and that's going to be a bad year for him.
While we watch the action on the track, we'll tell you that 3 cars have re-entered the race. They are Ricky Rudd, Tom Kendall, and Todd Bodine.
You know, you might wonder why all these gearbox failures on this course. A lot of these guys, almost all these guys, left foot brake, and they don't use the clutch. They just go ahead and they brake real hard, and they put it down the next lower gear. Now, that shock loads the gear. That's pretty hard on the gear. We're looking at Tommy Kendall here. I'm sure he's going to do the same thing. You watch him right there. He was left foot braking. Tommy used to right foot brake, but now, of course, after his accident, he's left foot braking. It's a little harder on the gearbox. You see him right there, tap the brake. That's hard. It shock loads that gear, and if you explode a gear in there, you might not have 3rd, but you just go a little bit further, and then you're not going to have 4th. You're not going to have 2nd, because it tears stuff up inside that gearbox.
As we watch all this, Terry Labonte has passed Jeff Bodine to take over that 4th spot. As we watch Tommy Kendall playing with the throttle. Now he's all the way down.
Here comes Martin through the inner loop down around where Ned is. And Ned, he's got a pretty good advantage on Earnhardt and Wallace.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't closed up any at all, Bob. I think he's just watching them in his rearview mirror and just staying that distance that he is. Maybe pull away just a little bit. He's very comfortable there where he's at right now. Let them race back there for 2nd position, and he not take any extra chances. I believe he still has a little bit more in that car.
There we see Harry Gant, Ernie Irvin, Kyle Petty, and Gant now trying to pass Sterling Marlin, unable to do so. And here's a crash involving Terry Labonte. And again, it's in turn 6, and he doesn't hit quite as hard as Rick Mast did. And he's going car going again.
You know, that grass there is downhill. If you fall off the outside there getting that grass, it's straight downhill that guardrail. Here we get a replay of what's happened right there to Terry. Here he's got too deep under braking. He's off in the grass. He's also spun the car. He's going to go in, he thinks, backwards. You see, he's got the tires totally locked down. There's nothing he can do steering-wise, and there he hits the guardrail. I don't know how much longer that guardrail is going to stay up.
I'm telling you, it has taken a beating here this afternoon. On the racetrack, the battle is for second position as Wallace begins to close in on Earnhardt, and a full course caution is coming out again. We have a car that is stalled at the entrance to the pit area, and that appears to be the number 52 car and the driver, Scott Gaylord. Here's John Kernan.
Well, Pete Wright and the crew will go to work with a sledgehammer. They'll try and knock back some of the sheet metal as they've already changed left side tires. They were going to be a 4-tire change. I'm pretty sure that they have taken the lug nuts off the right side. Yes, they have. They'll have to come along. They're telling Terry to hold on. Terry wanted to take off because he could conceivably get back out on the racetrack without having lost a lap. Here comes Mark Martin out of the last turn. Terry will go down the lap as the right side tires go on. Terry's sitting, waiting now. Still waiting. They haven't put the jack down. Now they'll put it down. Apparently there's more problems than just some bent up sheet metal. Yes, and looks like they're going to take the hood pins out, go underneath the hood and check it out. So apparently Terry Labonte experiencing a lot more problems than just some bent sheet metal on that left front fender.
He had a good run going, but unfortunately makes contact with the guardrail, and there may be more problems than that. Our fourth full course caution of the day here at the Bud at the Glen. We'll be back with more live coverage in a moment.
Don't wait. Get the News Weekly of Motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the News Weekly of Motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the News Weekly of Motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the News Weekly of Motoring.
IndyCar thrills on ESPN. Today, it's off to New Hampshire for the New England 200. The green flag flies at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN.
We'd like to thank the Blockbuster Video Blimp for providing ESPN with beautiful aerial shots of Watkins Glen, today's race. It is making its maiden tour through the eastern half of the United States here in 1993. The pilot, Terry Dillard from Orlando, Florida, celebrating his birthday today. Well, once again, the pace car has the field in tow, and we should be seeing some pit stops coming up here in just a few moments. The field is now between turns 6 and 7. Passing over our cave camp. Made its debut here at Watkins Glen a few years ago. Now here comes the field off of corner number 7, the final one. Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, Lake Speed, Brett Bodine all come in. Jeff Bodine, however, elects to stay out. Very slowly down pit road with a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Why would Jeff Bodine stay out?
Well, he can go a little while before he has to pit, Benny. He's going to have to make one more pit stop. All of those that are stopping right now is going to have to make one more pit stop. So I guess Bud Moore and the crew are figuring let's make it a little bit later, and then we go the rest of the way. Jerry Punch.
And the leaders are down on pit road now. Mark Martin pitting about 15 feet in front of Dale Earnhardt in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Ford Valvoline team now working on the right side of the car. Apparently an air gun has failed. The air gun that Steve Meal was using for the right rear of Mark Martin's car has failed, and the backup air gun has now failed. They cannot get the lug nuts. They have a lug nut stuck in the right rear, and the car number 3 is down and away. Earnhardt is down, Rusty Wallace, Sterling Marlin, Kyle Petty and company, and they have not been able to get the right rear tire off the Mark Martin car. Can you believe it? We talked about it at the top of the show. This car has been so strong, but it's always been something small to happen to this race team that has kept them out of victory lane after dominating in Michigan. They run out of fuel, ran short on fuel with 9 laps to go, and here it is a lug nut that costs less than $2, and Steve Meal is cranking on a hand ratchet trying to get the right rear tire off. They have not changed left side tires yet. The car still on the jacks. What a tough break for Mark Martin.
You know, I didn't want to say it before, but whenever you have a car this dominant, this is exactly the thing that happens to you every time. This race car can outrun about anything on the racetrack, but it can't outrun this problem like this.
They finally get the right rear on. Now they go around to the left side. Fortunately, we're on a big road course, and he's losing a lot of track position, but we'll be able to catch up. Now, let's check in with our Western Auto race recap as we have completed 52 laps. And Mark Martin has led 41 of them. 25 cars on the lead lap. This was prior to the pit stops and the caution. 4 leaders and 4 lead changes. 4 cautions for 8 laps and an average speed of 81.58 miles an hour. Those that have led a lap, only 3, Martin, Jeff Bodine, and Dale Earnhardt. And the list that of those that are out of the race is very short. Dorsey Schrader, who has joined us here in the booth, Ed Faree, and Bobby Hillen. The Mechanic of the Year standings finds Andy Petrie up on top, Tony Glover second, followed by Steve Meal, Ken Howes from Ken Schrader's team, and Leonard Wood for Morgan Shepherd. So we'll take another commercial break as we are once again under caution here at Watkins Glen International, the Bud at the Glen.
At 180 miles an hour, Darrell Waltrip can't afford a bad part.
Ouch, man, that hurt. Like you, I need quality parts at the right price. And at Western Auto, we guarantee it. You'll find thousands of top name brand parts, all backed by Western Auto's unbeatable everyday low price guarantee. Right?
Right, DW. Pick up AC oil filters at Western Auto's unbeatable low price every day. AC oil filters. It's like buying time.
The right parts, unbeatable low prices. At Western Auto, we guarantee it.
Right, DW.
Motor oil for their race cars and their own cars. Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics, from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
What exactly is it that makes a Ford Escort GT so much fun? Well, let's start with its powerful 16-valve dual overhead cam engine. It's a blast. A scream. It really cuts. Then there's Escort GT's great looks. You know, the kind that'll turn more heads than a screwdriver. Speaking of turns, that's where Escort GT's nimble sport suspension comes in. We're talking road hugging. So ask yourself, isn't it time for a little fun? Yes! And have you driven a Ford lately?
The time has come for the cordless power roller from Wagner. It's so quick and easy, it can cut painting time in half. So get your hands on a real value, because the value of Wagner keeps on rolling.
At 180 miles an hour, Darrell Waltrip can't afford a bad part.
Ouch, man, that hurt. Like you, I need quality parts at the right price. And at Western Auto, we guarantee it. You'll find thousands of top name brand parts, all backed by Western Auto's unbeatable everyday low price guarantee. Right?
Right, DW. Pick up AC oil filters at Western Auto's unbeatable low price every day. AC oil filters. It's like buying time.
The right parts, unbeatable low prices. At Western Auto, we guarantee it.
Right, DW.
Back at Watkins Glen, where the lights on top of the pace car are out, we should be going back to green here in about a half a lap. Mark Martin has experienced bad luck in the pit area. Here's Jerry.
Bob, almost unbelievable. A lug nut cost $1.25. Take a look at what a brand new lug nut should look like here. This shiny one on the right. Here's the one that was the culprit on the right rear tire. You see where it's been rounded off? They could not get it off. With the impact wrench, they had to basically physically twist it off using a ratchet. That's what cost them a chance at leading the race and may have cost them a chance at victory lane. Can you believe it? $1.25.
Hard to believe that a car so dominant on the racetrack can experience problems in the pit area that puts him way back. Now look at the battle, the race out of the pits.
Here comes Rusty. Here comes Earnhardt. And Rusty looked like he made some contact with Sterling Marlin. I think, did Marlin win that race?
Yeah, he sure did. But
he
there
beat
was
Rusty,
contact.
but I don't know if he beat Earnhardt or not.
No, he didn't beat Earnhardt, but he did Rusty, and they had some contact.
Well, they've got him in front of Rusty Wallace right now. I mean, in front of Dale Earnhardt. So he did, in fact, beat Earnhardt.
Yep, you're right.
Well, I tell you, it's hard to get in and out of these pits at 35 miles an hour. Everybody's running a real tall first gear here to get down through turn 1 cleanly with. And it's so tall, in fact, that at 35 miles per hour on pit lane, the engine lugs. So that's why you see these guys get kicked sideways. Here we go toward you, Benny.
Green flag again. Jeff Bodine stayed on the racetrack. So did Joe Nemechek. Earnhardt. He gets by Sterling Marlin, so does Rusty Wallace. They're trying to get by Nemechek. Rusty and Sterling go through the corner. They make it. And there's Morgan Shepherd almost spin as he comes through the corner. Mark Martin goes through. He gets by Kenny Schrader, but he's got a lot of cars between him and the front.
As they head up toward Ned, we will tell you that Jeff Gordon has been assessed a black flag stop-and-go penalty, and Morgan Shepherd does crash.
He hits the outside wall, now he's back over on the other side, and I tell you what, did he go across that racetrack then and no one hit him?
He certainly did, and I don't know how he did it, Benny, but the good Lord is looking after him there.
Boy. And he has a car rolling as he goes.
Ernie Irvin has damage to his car, quite a bit of damage to the Kodak Film Chevrolet. Evidently, he was involved in it. We'll take a look here.
Watch behind the group of cars. There's
Morgan. And you see the Kodak film car, the yellow car, on the right side of your screen. And evidently, he and Morgan Shepherd got together, shot Morgan over to the left side of the car, left side of the screen, and then all the way across the racetrack in amongst that group of cars, hit the guardrail on the other side. How in the world did that didn't get hit? I don't know.
And we got a race for the lead, and Dale Earnhardt, and in turn 1, takes the lead. Rusty Wallace. Jeff Bodine is third. Sterling Marlin, Jeff Bodine, third, and Sterling Marlin fourth. And here comes Mark Martin. He's gotten about 3 more cars. Well, also including Ernie Irvin, he's gotten by 5 cars, but still, what did I say the last time? A long way to that black car.
Second and a lap. If he can run as quick as he qualified, it won't be that long. Because I tell you what, I'm watching Mark, and he is coming on.
It's awfully hard to run your full speed when you got cars that you're passing, having to pass. That makes it awfully tough.
Well, the hood is up on the 21 car, and it's blocking his view coming in. He's on pit road, but he can't see anything. Morgan Shepherd, 4th in the point standings going in. 374 behind. Earnhardt brings it to a stop.
He's got big trouble. Look at that left front wheel. It's got a lot of negative camber. It's taking a hard hit, so their day is going to be a long one.
Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace running in second position, completing lap number 56.
Here's Kyle Petty on the inside of Sterling Marlin. Or is that Jeff Bodine, or both he's trying to pass? Looks like it's Sterling Marlin this time, maybe Jeff Bodine the next time. He has Sterling, takes that spot away. We see Lake Speed falling in behind Sterling Marlin.
So Lake Speed is 6th, Kyle Petty 4th. Here is the lead change a few laps ago.
Now they're going in turn 7. This is coming down to the start-finish line, and Jeff looks like he got in the corner a little bit out of shape. Earnhardt just drove on the inside. Here comes Rusty Wallace following him. Down in turn 1. Both of them go by Jeff Bodine.
Now they begin to open up a little bit of an interval back to the 3rd place car. We have a replay from Morgan Shepherd's in-car camera of the incident that involved him a few laps ago.
This is exactly what it feels like. It looks like, too. That's pretty realistic.
No, thanks.
Sterling Marlin pulls out, tries to get on the inside of Jeff Bodine.
Look at Dallenbach.
Man, oh man, Dallenbach, Lake Speed. Here comes Sterling. He makes it, and Dallenbach gets on the inside of Lake Speed. Takes that spot away from Lake.
Wally should run good here. We've run a lot of races together at this racetrack, and he knows it real well. It looks like they got that Keystone car finally up to snuff. It's running pretty good right now.
Yeah, he spun early in the going, but it's been a nice, steady progression. And Wally is driving the wheels off that thing.
And is he following a car that he might drive in the future? There are rumors that he might get in that Bud Moore car. He has definitely asked for releasing his contract with the Jack Roush racing team. That has been given. There's the damage you see on the 4-car of Ernie Irvin in that incident with the Morgan Shepherd, and I think Harry Gant got a little bit of damage in that as well. Let's go to the pits with Jerry Punch.
Well, damage report on the Kodak Chevrolet, Ned, is that apparently it's just sheet metal damage, but the big problem, maybe Dorsey Schrader can comment on this, Ernie has told the crew he has trouble seeing over the hood that's buckled in front of him, and visibility's got to be very important on a road course, Dorsey.
Well, you can't see very well. You know, you're sitting pretty high up in the back of that car, and you're looking up toward the top of the windshield. He's got that hood buckled up right in front of him, so that's going to be a problem. Plus, anything that's under that engine's coming out from the backside of the hood now getting on his windshield.
Isn't quite as bad as Morgan Shepherd had to contend with a few minutes ago, but it's still pretty bad. Here is Earnhardt leading Rusty Wallace off of the corner. Kyle Petty now runs third, followed by Sterling Marlin and Jeff Bodine. Back with more from Watkins Glen in a moment.
Most trackers can follow the trail only as long as the weather holds out. Unless it's a tracker spurred on with genuine AC spark plugs. AC plugs fire faster than lightning for performance so smooth, even the thunder claps. And that'll keep your engine on the trail to a longer life. AC Delco. It's like buying time. So better track down some AC spark plugs. Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
Hi, I'm Paul Page. We're at Loudon, New Hampshire, where Nigel Mansell has earned another point to a potential PPG Cup championship in the IndyCars by taking the pole for this afternoon's running of the New England 200. We'll have more auto racing coming up here on ESPN. Now, let's send you back to Watkins Glen, New York.
There are people everywhere at the Glen, inside the racetrack, outside the track. More than 100,000 have gathered here for the butt of the Glen, being led right now by Dale Earnhardt, who has about an 0.8 of a second lead on Rusty Wallace in the top 5, separated by just over 8 seconds. Lake Speed has come into the pits. There was a puff of smoke from that car. Here's John Kernan.
It was a slight oil leak, Bob. They have checked it, looked under the car, nothing serious. They haven't left any oil spots down on the pavement down here in pit road. He was held an extra 15 seconds because of coming into the pits too hot. Of course, it was kind of impromptu. You saw where he all of a sudden slowed up, got people behind him, got pushed around, came into the pits too hot. They held him an extra 15 seconds. They have just told Lake to go ahead and ride it out. Tough break for this team. They had already lost third gear, and now they have this small oil leak problem.
Yeah, the problem occurred in turn number 6, and he just really couldn't slow it down enough to get in pit lane at the speed that's required, 35 miles an hour. So he suffers another setback.
And I still see smoke coming out of the 28 car, so he might not have that problem fixed yet.
There is Phil Parsons, who was running 26th, a lap down. They're pushing that car back to the garage area.
His car came by me before he made the pit stop, Bob. Looked like he was smoking out the exhaust pipe, like he had an engine problem. He went in the pits. Oh, and look at Rusty Wallace almost lose it as he comes off turn 7. He is after that 3 car, isn't he?
came off turn 11 or turn 7 and got way up on the rumble strips.
You know, he won a race here like that one year, though. So maybe
yeah, you're right.
Maybe he thought that might be the right thing to do. Of course, that was before that big curve they got there now, too.
Yeah, that was back in 1989.
And look who's running third now, Kyle Petty. After all the problems he's had today, back up in third, a solid third.
And the battle for 5th position between Jeff Bodine and Wally Dallenbach. And Harry Gant is also right there, Ned, as they come up the hill through the S's and up to you.
Yeah, Gant, I think, got a little bit of bump from Morgan Shepherd in that incident back there a while back, but he hasn't affected his running any. Wally took a look at Jeff Bodine. Now he's going to try to outbreak him coming into the interloop here, but he can't quite do it. He has to follow him through there. Those cars just tied together as they come through there. Jeff Bodine is holding Wally Dallenbach up just a little bit. And not far behind them is Joe Nemechek, who is doing a great job here today, and it's only his second Winston Cup race. He's in that white car there behind Harry Gant.
And I saw Mark Martin right behind Joe Nemechek. There comes Martin. So he's making some progress. But I tell you what, to get to the lead, he's going to have a caution flag, guys. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think so. He's making up a lot of ground, but he's running about the same lap speed as those leaders up ahead of him are. So there's no way to catch up with that little help from Darrell Black.
28 car, Blake Speed, has been black flagged. They think it might be a transmission problem, but he has been black flagged. Now the battle for position again. Dallenbach just can't get around Jeff. He started 10th. In the 40th lap, he was 14th, and look how far he has come just since then. Up to 6th.
Well, I don't know if that's, Wally moving inside just trying to intimidate Jeff. I can tell him that's not going to work if that's what he's doing. But, he keeps popping out looking to the inside, but he's not really close enough to make that move yet.
Here comes Mark Martin. Behind us, he has caught this group. He's gotten by Nemechek, coming towards you, Ned.
And he'll try once again, but he can't outbreak. But Mark Martin does. He moves on the inside of Harry Gant, makes the pass. Here is Dallenbach. I thought he's going to try to move on the inside. In fact, he did, but Jeff Bodine shut the door there right quick. Let's see what Mark Martin can do with him as they come off this turn. Mark has made several passes right here, but this group might be a little bit strong for him. Harry pulls out. He's going to try to go on the inside of Dallenbach, but he can't do it.
Earnhardt's telling those guys to go ahead. You see him waving? No, Martin's on the outside of his teammate. What in the world's going on?
Well, I don't think he was going to get a lot of help from Wally right there. Wally's running this race for himself, And there he goes.
Well, Jeff's running the pit.
Yeah, he is.
Making a pit stop.
Off sequence,
He did not stop during the last caution, so he has to stop. He can do that and not lose a lap. Everybody else is going to have to stop, at least for some gas before this thing's over. And so maybe not bad strategy.
Yeah, this could be the race right here if things go according to Jeff Bodine's plan.
And Bob, if there a caution should come out, now he's going to be in great shape. When he went from the lap down to leading the race, he could be in that same position again if caution should come out.
Now watching this, Ned, you got Mark Martin drafting on Wally Dallenbach, and he'll try to outbreak him up there by you. In fact, here he is setting him up right now.
And a good run for the 22 car of Bobby Labonte as he has moved to 8th position.
And Mark Martin got by Wally Dallenbach with ease, didn't he, Ned?
Yeah, he did. He just went right on there. Wally didn't fight him too hard. Once he saw Mark was coming up and how strong he was, so he let him move right on around. That puts Mark, up in 5th position now?
I believe that's right, Ned. Yep.
And Jeff Bodine goes back. He's made his pit stop. He's back on the racetrack. And here comes Earnhardt by the start-finish line, so he's safely in the lead lap.
Kyle Petty is 3rd. In 4th position is Sterling Marlin. And in 5th is Mark Martin. Then comes Wally Dallenbach, Harry Gant, and Bobby Labonte. We'll be right back.
If it were just to win more trophies, we wouldn't be here. But there's a side to Ford racing you won't find in the sports page. It's learning how to make your car safer by racing 200 miles an hour in heavy traffic. And learning how a granite roller coaster can make your truck even tougher. Because when it comes to developing technology for your Ford, there shouldn't be any limits. That's why we race. Of course, we're not about to give back all our trophies. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics, Daytona 500 chief mechanics, NHRA mechanics, and Baja 1000 mechanics. for use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
The New England 200 IndyCar race from New Hampshire International Speedway in Loudon is next at 3:30 or at the conclusion of this event here on ESPN. This event is the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race. There's the overhead shot, and there is the interval between the first two cars, 1.16 seconds, and the top five separated by just a little over 16 seconds. Dale Earnhardt is your leader. There he is, just ahead of Rusty Wallace. Kyle Petty not too far behind in third. After some problems at the beginning of the race, he has fought back gallantly to be a contender for his second victory in a row here at the Glen. Jerry?
Absolutely incredible, Bob. You know, the engine was skipping early on. They brought it in, changed the spark plugs, changed the coil, changed the ignition. Robin Pemberton told me they lost the ignition box yesterday in the final practice session. He said, whatever we've done, we fixed it. We don't know how, but we fixed it. He said, this car gets any better, we're not going to be able to stand it. Right now, it's back to 100% and showing it on the racetrack.
The mellow yellow Pontiac running third. The DuPont Chevrolet, driven by Jeff Gordon, is on pit road. And Dorsey, the last time by us, it was smoking pretty bad.
Yeah, he came out of that last corner up there, turn 7, came on straight over. We saw a lot of smoke come out. He pulled off line, so he's got a problem for sure. He got out of line and got out of the way so everybody could go out.
Leading rookie contender, Jeff Gordon. Here is the leading veteran contender for the Winston Cup Points Championship, Dale Earnhardt. And the 24 car of Jeff Gordon is being pushed behind the wall and back to the garage area as we present a Napa field summary. How they were running last lap. We're inside Tom Kendall's Family Channel Ford as he is following the cars running up front. Right behind Rusty Wallace.
You see Tommy Kendall put his hand up instead of the rearview mirror so he can see who's behind him, because these cars have a lot of vibration. Sometimes it vibrates so badly you can't tell who's in your rearview mirror. He wanted to be sure he knew who was back there.
As we see the leaders come off of turn 7 there, guys, Mark Martin has just moved into 4th place, and I've been clocking him. He has been gaining over a second a lap on Dale Earnhardt, but unfortunately, he was about 15 seconds behind when I started clocking him.
Got a lot of ground to make up, but the car's running well.
Well, unofficially, by me right here is at 14.2 seconds behind, so he's picked up a good second and a half, just like you said, man.
The car is really running. Without, as we talked earlier, without the benefit of a caution, there's just no way that he can catch him. But remember, everybody's got to make a pit stop again.
All except Jeff Bodine.
Yep.
And Mark Martin eligible for $98,900 in Unocal bonus money. It has not been claimed since Bristol in the spring by Rusty Wallace, and so he could tack on another almost $100,000 to his winning purse if he can pull out a victory.
He probably would make that one of the highest paying road races in history.
Yeah.
Not too shabby, 100 grand.
No, sir.
Track in front of him. The only problem is there's too much racetrack in front of him. Here we see our leader, Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet. There's a second place car, Rusty Wallace, and we see third, Kyle Petty. That's a lap car, and I think is that Mark Martin just coming by the start-finish line?
Yeah, it is. You know, one thing I've noticed on these cars, when you watch Earnhardt and you watch Rusty's car, they're leaning a lot in the corners. Mark's car is flat, and it is really quick.
The 44 car, Rick Wilson, is in 13th position.
When he came out of the interloop, Bob, just a moment ago and just went slow, moving on the high side of the racetrack, let a lot of cars pass him. Don't know what went wrong, if something went wrong with the transmission or just what. It appears the engine is running okay, but as you can see, he's going much slower than he should be.
Let's see if he comes into the pit area. Nope, he elects to stay out there.
Probably a transmission problem. He's probably hung up in a gear, whatever that gear might be. And maybe it's just going to ride it out.
You know, there's a lot of transmission problems today. There's a lot of cars having problems. And I talked to some of the transmission specialists, and they tell me that the cars have so much horsepower that the transmissions are right on the verge of being not good enough. If they find any more horsepower, we're going to see even more transmission problems because these guys are developing horsepower every day, and they've gotten the transmission to the point they just won't take it.
To the left of your screen, we see Todd Bodine coming into the pit area. That car moving very slowly around the racetrack, and we didn't know whether he was going to make it or not, but he did. In the meantime, the 28 car, Blake Speed, is back in competition.
And the 21 car, there he comes. There's a 21 car with no front end on his car right in front of the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Earnhardt laps Morgan Shepherd, who crashed earlier in the event. Earnhardt is your leader. We'll be right back.
When cable companies first started carrying broadcast TV, the broadcasters loved it. Why? Because the more people who see their commercials, the more they get to charge advertisers. It's big money. But apparently it's not enough. Now the broadcast stations want to charge cable companies for their signal, which means cable customers would eventually pay extra for what everybody else gets free. The stations say they deserve more money, but frankly, we're not buying it. And we don't think you should either.
Mancini Optical, a family business since 1952. Mancini Optical has 3,000 frames to choose from. Need bifocals? You'll love No-Line Omni from American Optical. Our computer-assisted lab has most selections ready in an hour. Dr. Angelo Aiello assures accurate eye exams using high-tech retinal cameras. Mancini Optical, Route 130 Delran, and our new location at Cross Keys Road in Sicklerville.
Bob Murphy finished birdie en route to a 3-under par 69. He's at 8-under par, one shot off the lead. 17 golfers within 5 shots of our co-leaders. Join our ESPN golf team for final round live coverage at 5:30 Eastern Time today.
Bob Jenkins, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, Dorsey Schrader, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch back with you at Watkins Glen International for the Bud at the Glen. There's a second-place car of Rusty Wallace. And just ahead of him is the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
Looks like Rusty's losing some ground, Ned.
Yeah, he is losing ground. There's no question about it. Meanwhile, Mark Martin is gaining ground. He has cut that lead Earnhardt has down to a little under 11 seconds, according to my stopwatch. And he continues to gain on Kyle Petty. You see Kyle right there, and there's Mark Martin coming up on him.
And we understand that Kyle Petty will be coming in for a pit stop, Jerry?
That's exactly right, Bob. Everyone has to make one more stop with the exception of Jeff Bodine, as we've documented. Kyle said, hey, the leaders are pulling away from him, and behind him, Mark Martin is catching him. So he has no choice but to come in and change all 4 tires. And the car number 98 has had problems up at the loop. He's been off the course and now back on. That's Derek Cope in the Bojangles 40 is back on the course. As we are waiting now for Kyle Petty at 35 miles per hour. It looks like it's an eternity to get down pit road, and now Robin Pemberton and the crew will try to go to work and change all 4 tires. Right side lug nuts coming off. Kyle waving for water in the car. Left side lug nuts being taken off. They're getting the car completely full of fuel. Felix Zavada standing over, surveying the action. Now left side tires going on. 1 can of fuel in, 2nd can going in. Kyle puts it back in first gear and pulls away in what would be his final pit stop of the day.
There are 19 laps to go. 71 have been completed, and Kyle Petty now can go the rest of the race. Derek Cope did spin out in the inner loop area. And here's how it happened, Ned, up by you.
Yeah, he comes in there. It looked like he came in a little bit hot, trying to get the car down on the grass. He had the left wheels on the grass, lost the back end. He went around. He tries to correct it, sees he isn't going to be able to do it, so he just spins it on around and sort of out of harm's way. He didn't hit anything other than just going over the drifter strips down on the inside.
Hey, Jerry, why are the guys changing the inside tires today the first? Why are they doing that first? You know, normally they go around, change the outside tires, come back and change the inside tires. Why have they reversed it here on the road course?
Well, Benny, it looks like what's happening here is that the conditions are so tight in the pits here, it's actually safer for the guys to come across the wall, and probably even quicker to change the right side tires first. And the other reason might be is that you want to be able to get the car full of fuel. They're fueling the car from the right side here, and of course that could make a difference. But while traffic is on pit road and it's very congested, it might be easier to stay on this side of the car first and then go to the opposite side.
With Kyle Petty's pit stop, of course, Mark Martin is now in third position. There's first and second. And here comes Mark around corner number 5 and headed down the straightaway to corner number 6.
And he has cut that lead to less than 10 seconds when he went by here the last time, Bob. So no question but what Mark Martin has the fastest car on the racetrack. But that's a lot of distance to make up, and it's hard to imagine with the way Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace's crew works in the pits that he could beat them enough in the pits to make up that difference.
Here's the on-track interval, lap 67 through 71. It was a 14.2-second interval, and it shrunk to 10.7. And look how much faster Martin was than the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
And, you know, there's enough time left, in theory, if he can keep up this second per lap deal, he will, in fact, catch that lead car before the end of this race.
Yep, there are 17 laps to go, and it isn't that. There aren't 17 seconds separating first and second, so theoretically, he could do it. The interval continues to stretch out between Dale Earnhardt, and we have another caution. Rusty Wallace is falling back, and here's what happened a few minutes ago.
He comes off corner, misses the corner. That's where everyone has been hitting the wall down in turn 6 today. Gets off the racetrack. And what's the caution flag for, Bob?
I think it's for oil on the racetrack.
Well, it could be. The 75 car is going he's still going very slowly. Don't know if he'll get back to the pits, but there might be oil on the racetrack as well.
Well, Rusty did a real good job there. You saw the brake smoke. He locked up that tire. He knew he was going off in the grass, so he took his foot off the brake, added a little bit of steering, and kept that thing right on the verge of going off in that grass. If he'd got on that grass, he'd have been right down there in the wall with the rest of them.
Hey, guys, I got to say something. You know, while we've been talking about Mark Martin gaining on the leaders, you know who was outrunning Mark Martin? Joe Nemechek, who was right in front of him. He was outrunning Mark Martin.
But Nemechek is a lap down in 23rd position, but it has been a good race for the defending NASCAR, Grand National champion. Pace car is out for the 5th time here at Watkins Glen.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Keep your car in the running for that extra lap with Delco batteries.
As the season winds down, the pennant chase heats up on ESPN. John Olerud continues his quest for 400. Toronto continues its quest for the AL East title. The Blue Jays battle the Brewers tonight, live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. By AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And by Budweiser, fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. Pace car has the field in tow coming off corner number 5. This is for some oil on the racetrack, but we're going to be seeing some pit stops here in just a few moments, the final pit stops of the afternoon. There's the Blockbuster Video Blimp, which is hovering high overhead of Watkins Glen International Raceway, making its maiden tour through the eastern half of the United States. And we welcome her presence here today. Look at the people that have gathered here, inside and outside. They're everywhere, waiting for pit stops to happen. They're entering turn number 7, the final turn on the course. Earnhardt, Wallace, Martin, and others will be turning right into the pit area, keeping that speed below 35 miles an hour. We will be watching Earnhardt, Wallace, and Martin in particular. But a lot more than that come down pit road for some service.
And Kyle Petty may stay on the racetrack, try to take advantage of that late pit stop he made and try to take the lead. But meanwhile, let's watch the race on pit road. Jerry Puncher coming to you.
And it should be the final and will be the final scheduled pit stop for the day. Very slowly they come down, and even as they've been on the racetrack, what happens in the pits to decide the outcome here at Watkins Glen. We're watching Dale Earnhardt's crew, Will Lynn, David Smith, and company go to work on the right side of the car. Meanwhile, Rusty Wallace's team changes the left side tires first. Now they move around to the right side while Earnhardt's crew moves to the left side. We'll see which velocity will pay out. Rusty's car is down and away. Earnhardt is down and away. It looks like Rusty Wallace will win the battle among the lead cars down pit road. And Mark Martin is still on pit road as they have trouble with the right side once again. Now over to the left side of the car. Just now jacking the left side of the Valvoline Ford. And they are working there. As you hear the celebration in the background, that's the yelling and screaming from Rusty Wallace's Miller pits. Excited about their pit stop. And they are unbelievably excited here in the Miller pits about what happened on that pit stop. In fact, Buddy Parrott and the crew here, they are very... Here's Brad Parrott and the rest of the crew here. Unbelievable pit stop, guys. Brad, incredible pit stop.
I'm telling you, these guys are wonderful on this team. You know, hopefully Rusty can hang on, and I know Earnhardt's going to push him hard, but we got the best driver on the circuit right now.
Emotional, red-faced, and completely out of breath, but they did their job. 18 seconds flat, 4 tires, and they got him back out front with just a few laps to go.
And Jerry, somebody else that was awfully impressive on that pit stop too was the Sterling Marlin crew. They went in running in 4th or 5th place, came out in right behind Rusty Wallace. They've gained positions every time they've made pit stops today. That crew has done their job.
So for oil on the racetrack, we are under our 5th caution of the day. Pit stops have been completed. We should be back to racing in just a moment.
There we were, a jillion miles outside of the hood. The bus got a flat, got no jack. Homie's got to cut his grass. What's up?
4.5. Here, 4.5. Here, down. 4.5. 600. Sold.
The man's round sells, but he's got no beef. Pardon me.
That was that.
Yo, MC Cow Seller. Fresh.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? For their race cars and their own cars. Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics, from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
The best defense is not to offend. Thus, introducing the new Right Guard Sports Stick. Now with a time-release formula for longer-lasting protection against hostile odor all day. For protection that endures.
Don't wait. Get the news weekly of motoring, Auto Week. Don't wait for driving impressions. Auto Week drives them all and tells you about them first. Don't wait for car news. Auto Week covers the world. Auto shows, the new, the old, and brings it to you fast. Don't wait for racing news. Get the news weekly of motoring. Auto Week brings you the winningest coverage first. Don't wait. Get Auto Week, the news weekly of motoring, now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for a full year. 52 issues at the special TV price of $19.95. Just 38 cents an issue. Save $80 off the cover price. You've thought about it. Stop waiting. Do it now. Call 1-800-828-4100 for the news weekly of motoring.
Hi, I'm Paul Page. We're at Loudon, New Hampshire, where Nigel Mansell has earned another point to a potential PPG Cup championship in the Indy cars by taking the pole for this afternoon's running of the New England 200. We'll have more auto racing coming up here on ESPN. Now, let's send you back to Watkins Glen, New York.
All right, Paul Page, apparently we're going to run a little bit over our scheduled time of being finished with this race, but we look forward to your coverage of the IndyCar race. Now, watch the activity on pit road here. Pay particular attention to the front end of Rusty Wallace's car. Watch the crewman come off the wall, jump over the front of the car, and position himself to jack up the left side. Now, from the blimp, you can see some real fine work by Rusty Wallace's crew. Now look, they're changing tires on the left side first of Rusty Wallace's car, while in front of him on Dale Earnhardt, they're changing the right sides. The Wallace crew gets finished first on the left side. They come around to the right, do excellent work, and get Rusty off quickly.
And that Jackman almost got run over again.
But you also have to take your hats off, gentlemen, to Sterling Marlin's team. They completed a 4-tire change in a little over 18 seconds.
And came out between those two cars, right behind Rusty Wallace, in front of Dale Earnhardt.
Well, guys, we're about ready to go back to green flag racing. Now, Rusty Wallace is not leading this race. Kyle Petty is leading the race. Michael Waltrip is up in there. Jeff Bodine, they have made green flag pit stops. They didn't have to stop this time. So Rusty Wallace and all those who made pit stops has got to pass some pretty good cars there. Hut Strickland is among those. So they got some good cars to pass before they can get to the front.
The car that's out front is Joe Nemechek. He is back on the lead lap. The leader is Kyle Petty, then Jeff Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Hut Strickland. Then we get back to Rusty Wallace. And here comes the pace car off corner number 7, looking for a green flag on lap number 78. And there it is. We're back to racing.
Nemechek accelerating. This is an oval track car. They've changed over. Kyle Petty goes by and takes the lead. Meanwhile, it's Jeff Bodine, Michael Waltrip, Rusty Wallace, and Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin hung out behind the 27 car of Hut Strickland right now. Here's the in-car camera, Jeff Bodine, the roof cam looking at Joe Nemechek as he accelerates turn 4. And turn 5 in the interlude.
Of course, Jeff Bodine running second. Nemechek has gone a lap down now that once Kyle Petty moved around there. Rusty Wallace trying to move on the inside and does move around Michael Walker as they come into the interlude here. That'll put Rusty Wallace up into 3rd place. Move Michael back to 4th. And Sterling Marlin to 5th. Earnhardt is in 6th as they come around here. A lot of battling going on, and we're going to see a lot of jockeying for position. Mark Martin way back in the pack once again. I don't think he has time this time, gentlemen, back up there.
3 wide here with Hut Strickland and Wally Dolan back beside Bill Elliott. There's still quite a bit of time to go here. This is only going to complete lap number 78, so we've still got 12 laps to go, and a lot can happen.
22 car all trying to get by the 27. I thought he was going to have a crash there. And here comes Rusty Wallace trying to get by Jeff. He's on the inside, has the position, takes it away in turn 1. Earnhardt gets by Michael Walker right behind him. He has gotten by Sterling Marlin. In the meantime, Bobby Labonte is on the inside of Hut Strickland, takes that position away.
And somebody picked up a lot of dust coming through off of corner number 1. For those of you who are tuning in for the IndyCar race, it will follow immediately our coverage of this live, but at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race, which has 12 laps to go. It is being led by Kyle Petty. There is Rusty Wallace, who is running 2nd, Jeff Bodine, then Dale Earnhardt.
Now, those that made pit stops under the caution have a little bit fresher tires than some of those others, including Jeff Bodine. Jeff staying up there, though, in 3rd place right now, being hounded by Dale Earnhardt as they head into turn 6. But those fresher tires of Earnhardt should help him move around Jeff before too long. But now Kyle Petty, his tires were relatively fresh. He had not stopped too many laps before the caution came out.
But Earnhardt is having his difficulty getting around Jeff Bodine. Here he comes off the corner, and maybe here on the long straightaway he'll be able to do so as they head toward Benny. He pulls out to make the pass, but will he do it?
He looks like he is on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
He clears him down the front straightaway, goes to turn 1.
He actually gave him a little wave out the window there. I don't know what that was about.
Maybe Jeff waved to him and Dale returned the wave. I don't know, but he got around him pretty easily.
Meanwhile, a gaggle of cars there as we went through turn 1. All of them made it fine. This is a roof cam on the Motorcraft Ford of Jeff Bodine as he follows Dale Earnhardt through turn 3, heading up that back straightaway to the interloop. Uh-oh, Darrell Waltrip off the course. He is spun right at the start-finish line, turn 7. It looks like the car's dead.
That car is not headed in the right direction either. Here it is. Again, he's coming through corner number 7, and contact with Derek Cope sends Darrell around.
Boy, real fortunate there. He locked up the brakes. He's got it off the racetrack. Now the caution has come out for Darrell. He's going to stack the field up one more time.
And Ernie Urban has fun over here in the inner loop. I think he's going to be okay. There he is, getting it riding once again. That car is taking a beating today.
This is a break that Mark Martin needed. He's able to get a little bit closer to the leaders.
Here they come off corner 7. They now acknowledge the caution flag.
And Nemechek got a lap back.
Yes, he did. He's now on the lead lap once again. He's in 23rd position and on the lead lap.
Real impressive run for Joe Nemechek. I talked to him this morning in the garage, told him how good he qualified. You know, he said, I don't know a lot about this road racing stuff, but I'm having a good time, though.
So with 10 laps to go, we're set up for a shootout. The caution is out once again. The field is bunched. Back with more live coverage from the Budweiser at the Glen.
When cable companies first started carrying broadcast TV, the broadcasters loved it. Why? Because the more people who see their commercials, the more they get to charge advertisers. It's big money. But apparently it's not enough. Now the broadcast stations want to charge cable companies for their signal, which means cable customers would eventually pay extra for what everybody else gets free. The stations say they deserve more money, but frankly, we're not buying it. And we don't think you should either.
Mancini Optical, a family business since 1952. Mancini Optical has 3,000 frames to choose from. Need bifocals? You'll love No-Line Omni from American Optical. Our computer-assisted lab has most selections ready in an hour. Dr. Angelo Aiello assures accurate eye exams using high-tech retinal cameras. Mancini Optical, Route 130 Delran, and our new location at Cross Keys Road in Sicklerville.
As the season winds down, the pennant chase heats up on ESPN. John Olerud continues his quest for 400. Toronto continues its quest for the AL East title. The Blue Jays battle the Brewers tonight, live on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball.
Ten laps to go in the Bud at the Glen. Kyle Petty has the lead at the moment, looking for his second straight victory here. He started 7th. He's currently 1st, but the most impressive thing, look on lap number 14. He was way back in 35th position after he had some mechanical problems with the car. Needless to say, they have got it fixed. He is in the lead at the moment. And Dale Earnhardt got around Kyle Petty, or rather Rusty Wallace in all of this, and is now 2nd.
Boy, he don't miss a trick, does he?
He sure doesn't. And believe me, he's going to be pushing and gouging, trying to get to the front. And I see Mark Martin's back there right behind his, I guess we'll call it teammate, Wally Dallenbach. And I realize these guys are racing for themselves, but I guess Mark is hoping that Dallenbach will somehow help him get up there to these guys. He has a very fast race car, but he has several cars to get by before he has a chance to get up to the leaders.
I would imagine, Betty, when they drop the green up here, they're going to get some runs going and be real aggressive in the brake zones now. These guys don't have to save anything anymore. What if they got underneath them? They might as well use it up right now.
Yeah, if they got a brake pedal, they're going to use every bit down in turn 1. As we watch the Napa field summary, you see Mark Martin back in 11th spot.
And Harry Gant back in 15th. He was assessed a stop-and-go penalty is the reason that he is so far back, because he was right up there in the top 10. The 15 car of Jeff Bodine, although it is 4th in line, may be having a problem, John?
Yeah, what Jeff has radioed in and told Donnie Wingo is he's felt a bad vibration. He's also been having a lot of problems getting the car to go into 3rd gear. Jeff says he's not really sure if the car will last until the end of this race.
Well, that probably explains the wave he gave to Earnhardt. I'm sure he was experiencing that problem. Earnhardt was behind him, and he waved him on over, and Dale was just saying thanks for getting out of the way there.
Well, it's going to be interesting here when we go green, and we will do so in a half a lap. The green is being displayed here at the start-finish line, which means that the pace car will shut off its lights here on the inner loop, and we should go back to racing when they come around this time. So we're going to take a break and be back for the resumption of the racing here at the Bud at the Glen NASCAR Winston Cup race from Watkins Glen International.
We thought we'd been everywhere, seen everything. We were wrong.
We're bad to the bone. We're bad to the bone.
These guys were weird, and we liked it. Later, they took us to the Tower of Bud. Brother, tomorrow we ride again.
Where you see a close encounter, Ford sees a way to make braking safer for you. Where you see a crowded corner, Ford sees ways to make cornering more secure. It's why we race. Every time you see Ford take home another trophy, Ford has seen ways to win something far more important: every driver's confidence. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Caution came out. Did it?
Here at the Bud at the Glen Winston Cup race, 9 laps to go. Immediately following us now, stay tuned for the IndyCar race from New Hampshire International in Loudon. We understand it was a great race. Don't miss it. Tape delayed coverage coming up next. And right now we are set to go back to green. Kyle Petty has 4 more laps on his tires than everyone else. Here's the green, and here they come, Benny.
A lot of bumping already. Oh man, they're about 4 to 5 abreast. Let's see. Sterling Marlin on the inside, 3 abreast. There's Jimmy Spencer, the Meineke car. Rusty Wallace having some problems. He's going back. They tell me he's on 7 cylinders. A great run for Rusty. We can see him falling back. And here goes Mark Martin trying his best to get up to Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt. But look, he's got 3 cars right in front of him. He did get by his teammate, Wally Dallenbach.
And those are pretty good cars in front of him, too. Kyle Petty, Dale Earnhardt, and Sterling Marlin is in there, so it's going to be tough. There's Jeff Bodine up there as well. And we understand that Jeff Bodine might be having some sort of a transmission problem, hard to make the shifting, but he's staying right there in 3rd place right now as they come into turn 5.
Well, I saw Sterling Marlin move over on the spreader and keep Mark Martin behind him, so watch as they go down here toward the next corner and see if he doesn't move over and defensively keep Mark from him. There he goes right now as we speak, but Mark's got the run going.
Yeah, he sure does. He moves by Sterling Marlin. Tough break for Rusty Wallace, who has lost a cylinder after a great job on the racetrack and in the pit area. Things just go wrong. Robin Pemberton is the Western Auto mechanic of the race.
There we see Mark Martin trying to get by Jimmy Spencer. Meantime, Earnhardt not making a move. Here comes Martin. He clears Spencer down in the corner, falls in behind Jeff Bodine. And some contact between the 16 and 8, but they made it to the corner unscathed, and it looks like Dallenbach's going to have the position when they get to turn 2.
Looks like some contact there also between Michael Waltrip and Bill Elliott. So, gentlemen, what is the strategy that Dale Earnhardt employs now? Is it that point of the season where you take it easy and protect the points lead, or do you go for the win?
Win.
Huh?
Go for the win.
I'm going for the win.
Yeah. Dale Earnhardt don't know any other way. And here's Mark Martin now moving up to 3rd. Boy, he has, how many more laps we got?
7 more, Ned.
Okay, he's got time. If he can pick up that 2nd lap, he can catch it.
And certainly, if you're Dale Earnhardt, you know that Mark is breathing down your neck and catching up. So, yeah, he's going to go for it.
And look at Mark back there with the run off that corner. Now he can see where he's got to get to. You can bet he'll be running that car real hard right now into the brakes. He's got better brakes, I think, than the other guys. You see him get into the brake zones down by you, Benny, and he really gets in about a car length deeper.
He does come in the corner harder than anyone here. He goes through the corner on the throttle hard, comes off that rumble strip.
Hello.
Whatever it is. That white part of the racetrack.
Rough place on the racetrack.
Yeah, rumble strip.
Martin has gained 7 positions in the points in the last 6 races. Is now running in 3rd position. Look at the battle behind him, though, as Wally Dallenbach and
Jimmy Spencer got by him.
Yeah. Oh, and Dale Earnhardt and Kyle Petty have crashed. Mark Martin is in the lead. This is at the top of the S's.
Yeah, that's going to be a big hit right there, too. Right at the top of the S's, Mark Martin is cleared through that. He's in the lead. That'll bring out a caution. Those cars won't be going anywhere.
And Martin may have victory after all.
Unbelievable.
Look at Felix Sabates, yeah. All you can do is hang your head And here is a replay of what happened. Now they're coming up through the S's here.
Kyle gets the car out of shape.
Oh, yeah.
All by himself. He spins Earnhardt. He comes back across, and Earnhardt nails it.
I think Earnhardt thought Kyle was going to spin back across the track, and he made that commitment to go on the outside there, and Kyle stayed out there.
And another yellow.
You know, there's nowhere to go in there. That's like driving through the inside of a tunnel. If you hit that thing, you're just a ping pong ball bouncing back and forth. Earnhardt looked one way, thought he was going to. You only get one move. You either got to go left or right. Earnhardt said, I'm going this way. It was the wrong way today.
That's where the crash occurred here a few weeks ago, Dorsey, involving Steve Millen.
Yeah, that was
The crowd is going crazy here on the front stretch. They are up and shouting and cheering.
Look at them. They are on their feet cheering as Martin goes by.
You know, there's more flags waving around here. I had to spun my tire out.
The caution is out, as we said. Kyle Petty is out of the car.
And here comes Earnhardt down in turn 1.
Yeah, he's still running.
He's still running.
Car doesn't look too good, but he's still running. Kyle Petty's car is at the top of the hill, disabled, unable to move.
Well, you can see both the right side tires are blown completely out as he locked that thing down, slid up the hill. It blew it all the way through both the inner liner and the outer, so it'll take a flatbed to get Cal out of there.
Earnhardt has some body damage, and it's rubbing against the tire. They go very slowly through this scene of the crash.
And also they're going slowly, trying to get this race restarted.
Yeah.
So it will not end on a caution flag, trying to slow them down, take all the time they can.
Jerry Punch with a comment on Dale Earnhardt's crew.
Dale Earnhardt's crew came back in the pits and are looking now at their scoring monitor. What they're trying to see is there are 20 cars on the lead lap. They have got to be careful not to lose a lap in the pits trying to pull that sheet metal away. If they were to lose one lap, the best they could finish would be 21st. Remember, Dale Jarrett has already parked his car after problems early on. He will be credited with a 33rd place finish. Earnhardt would like to be able to gain some points even though he had misfortune, but they cannot afford to lose a lap here in the pits.
Well, we have seen an unbelievable race here this afternoon that could result in Mark Martin's win. Now, hey, Dale Jarrett has a passenger.
Yeah,
he's picked up Kyle.
Yeah, I think he picked him up and going to ride him back around to the pits. He's a long way from home, so Dale wasn't going anywhere. And at each of the restarts, I don't think we ever established the fact that Dale had gotten back in the race. He's only been back in there about 15 or 20 laps. Probably nobody cared except his mother, Martha. There's Kyle waving to Ernie Irvin and his wife, Kelly. And Ernie comes over and gives him a little bit of love tap there. Said, get out of my way, boy. You ought to be riding over there anyway.
Yeah, Dale is back in 33rd position, so he's not going to pick up very many points here, but he is back in the race.
A little friendly rivalry right there.
Yeah.
That was.
Here once again is the incident that has cost Dale Earnhardt and Kyle Petty potential wins.
Well,
Looks like he got off the. Did he get off the track a little?
He touched that curb, and that's all it takes in there. You're almost wide open. He hit that curb. The car got loose on him, spun around. Nowhere to go for Earnhardt. They get nose to nose, and both cars tore up pretty good there.
Well, Dorsey, you say nowhere to go. Nowhere to go after he made that commitment. You said earlier that you only got just a short period of time to make that commitment, and he made that commitment to go out there on the outside. There's that little love tap for Kyle Petty. You wonder if he was trying to crawl over in there with Ernie.
Well, it's a very slow pace that's being maintained here so that we can get in as many green laps as possible. As they come down, there will be 4 more to go here at Watkins Glen.
When cable companies first started carrying broadcast TV, the broadcasters loved it. Why? Because the more people who see their commercials, the more they get to charge advertisers. It's big money. But apparently it's not enough. Now the broadcast stations want to charge cable companies for their signal, which means cable customers would eventually pay extra for what everybody else gets free. The stations say they deserve more money, but frankly, we're not buying it. And we don't think you should either.
Mancini Optical, a family business since 1952. Mancini Optical has 3,000 frames to choose from. Need bifocals? You'll love No-Line Omni from American Optical. Our computer-assisted lab has most selections ready in an hour. Dr. Angelo Aiello assures accurate eye exams using high-tech retinal cameras. Mancini Optical, Route 130 Delran, and our new location at Cross Keys Road in Sicklerville.
Bob Murphy finished birdie en route to a 3-under par 69. He's at 8-under par, 1 shot off the lead. 17 golfers within 5 shots of our co-leaders. Join our ESPN golf team for final round live coverage at 5:30 Eastern Time today.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less will be uncivilized.
Stay tuned next for the New England 200. IndyCar race from New Hampshire International Speedway. That will immediately follow our coverage of the Bud at the Glen. There are a little more than 3 laps to go in this race. And the pace car's lights are out, so we will be going back to green here in just a moment. We have Mark Martin up front. Running second now is Jimmy Spencer. Wally Dallenbach is third. Jack Roush could have his first 1-3 or possibly 1-2 finish. We'll wait and see.
And Bob, there are 6 Fords in the first 6 positions. Ford hasn't won here since 1965. And Marvin Page took the checkered flag then.
That's right.
And Ford hasn't had the kind of year winning that they had hoped to have, so this might get them back on track.
Another Napa Field summary. You saw P.J. Jones there in 10th position. His brother Page won the big midget race, the Belleville Nationals last night, and Page was happy for his brother when I saw him this morning. Scott Lagasse is 13th.
Good run for him.
Yeah.
Road racer, I've known for a long, long time. There's that guy out. I don't like that out down.
Yeah. And last, not good.
Not a good deal.
Well, it's a better kind of an out than if you were a boxer.
Yeah, that's
right. For sure.
That wasn't a knockout. It was just an out.
Now coming through corner number 7, the final one. The green flag awaits the field. Mark Martin has 3 laps to go and potentially his first win of the season. Here's the green. Now we're going to watch to see if Wally Dallenbach can take second. He's already passed Jimmy Spencer as they head for 1, and now Roush is first and second.
And the cars are about 3 abreast behind them. Dallenbach gets through the corner. Spencer is third. Sterling Marlin is fourth. Meanwhile, all the rest of the cars, we see Jeff Bodine on the inside trying to nurse that transmission or whatever problem he's having and get it back home. Just about 2.5 more laps, and Bodine will have this race done.
And Mark Martin hopes he can get through those 2.5 laps and have it done out front in Glen, as he had a roller coaster type of a day as he comes into the inner loop here and has already pulled away to a comfortable lead. That Unical bonus, what is it, $98,800 if he can just keep that thing out front. That keeps pulling away.
Arlene, get out the credit card.
That Unical bonus hasn't been won since Bristol, and it's never been won for a road course race. So Mark may be making history here. Jeff Bodine beginning to fall back now. In 4th position is Sterling Marlin. Bill Elliott is in 5th, and Michael Waldrop and Bobby Labonte. Here is Jeff Bodine running with Kenny Wallace.
Bill Elliott out of this career. He's running pretty good there.
There's Scott Lagasse trying to get by Jeff Bodine, that pedigree dog food car.
Yep. 2 laps to go. 88 complete. 3 wide, headed for you.
Here they come. On the inside is Schrader. Takes the spot away from Bobby Labonte. Michael Waltrip follows suit.
That's P.J. Jones right behind there. Another road racer that had a real good run going today.
That was a great shot from the blimp of those cars moving through turn 1 and getting in single file. Now they move up through the S's once again onto the long backstretch headed for the inner loop. The lead is being held by Mark Martin.
And he is extending that lead, Bob, every lap around here. He has a very comfortable lead. Now, you don't really have to push it, but the car feels so good to him that he can just ease around here and still pull away from everybody.
Boy, there's a big battle there with you, Ned. That's P.J. Jones, I believe, involved in a battle for position.
Yeah, Michael Waltrip right in front of him. P.J. trying to take the position away, but Michael holding him off. He can hit over in towards turn 6.
Looking for the white flag this time by Mark Martin will have one more lap to go. He last won a NASCAR Winston Cup race at Charlotte in October of last year, 22 races ago. There's the white. One more to go for Mark Martin. And what a great day for the Jack Roush Racing Team. If they can finish this way, he'll have a 1-2 with Martin and Dallenbach.
And meanwhile, they're about 3 abreast behind them. T.J. Jones trying to get by Michael Waltrip, trying to outbrake him, and I believe he did it. He smokes the tires. Michael smokes the tires, gets off the course a little bit, and loses a couple of positions.
Michael Waltrip might have lost about 4 positions there, Vinny, in that little exchange. Harry Gant went by, and so did the 40 car of Kenny Wallace.
And the 98 car of Derek Cope.
Yep.
Got to give a call to Wallace. He's run a good race. Kenny Wallace. Here's Mark Martin moving through the inner loop for the last time.
Don't you know this guy thinks this day would never come, Ned?
Yep. But boy, he has fought hard today. Come back from 2 adversities in the pits, and now just pulling away. Should have no problem getting back to the finish line first.
Headed for turn number 6, where we have seen many crashes today, including one early in the race involving Rick Mast, but we have had no driver injuries. He's off of corner number 6, now headed for turn 7. He enters it, comes onto the straightaway, sees the checkered flag, it's waving for him, he wins it. Mark Martin has the butt of the Glen, and Wally Dallenbach finishes in 2nd spot. Jimmy Spencer 3rd, then Bill Elliott and Ken Schrader. Win at Watkins Glen for Mark Martin. It's also his first ever road course victory, and it came in his 15th career road course start.
Didn't take him long to get that window net down and start waving to the crowd, did it?
He was ready for him.
He was ready for him.
The man deserves this win, I'll tell you guys. He has run so well all year long. As Jerry Punch pointed out at the top of the show, all the laps that he had led and the problems that he'd had, and problems here today, but yet he came back to victory.
In his last 8 races, he has 6 top 10 finishes, and that, of course, is capped off by this victory here this afternoon. Bill Elliott passes him, waves congratulations, and we will be back with more of our coverage of this race. It's over, and the winner, Mark Martin.
Recently, one of Subway's best customers suggested we offer our turkey breast sub with chips and a drink at a special price. He also suggested a name for this meal deal breakthrough: Abundant Food Consumables with potato wafers and enlarged fluid unit. Not bad, but we call it the Mass Quantities Meal Deal. It's for anyone who has a hearty appetite, or like my friend here, comes from France.
Get a Coneheads Collector Cup with a Mass Quantities Meal Deal at Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
While supplies last.
The average Grand Prix lasts but a few hours, unless it's a Grand Prix started with a genuine Delco Freedom Battery. Delco's rated tops for taking the pole position in starting power and excelling in reserve capacity. Helps keep your engine in the race for a longer, more reliable life.
AC Delco. It's like buying time.
Keep your car in the running for that extra lap with Delco batteries.
Mark Martin has yet to come around to get his congratulations in victory lane. He is saluting the crowd, and the crowd is saluting him. Now he comes off of the final corner and moves down onto pit road and is looking for victory lane, which is positioned just under our broadcast position here at the start-finish line. Again, the IndyCar race from Loudon, New Hampshire is coming up in just a moment. But we've got to talk with Mark Martin on an outstanding victory here this afternoon. Had the fastest car all the weekend, and he overcame some adversity on pit road. By golly, he pulled it off when Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt crashed with just a few laps to go. Mark Martin, obviously a very, very happy person as he pulls in and gets the congratulations of those waiting for him. Big round of applause, and our AC Delco Winner Circle interview is from John Kernan.
Mark, it was a long ride around that after you took the checkered flag. I'm sure it was a very long day for you after the problems you had on that early pit stop that got you back. If anybody deserves a win, it had to be you guys.
Well,
I believe so, too. I want to say I love you, Matt and Arlene. I wish y'all were here. It was a good day for us. I want to thank Valvoline for giving me the opportunity and having the patience to hang with it, and Roush Racing, Jack Roush, and all the guys. We weren't very lucky today until right there at the end. We got a break that we needed. We had problems with lug nuts that were in the pits, and it was awful. I thought there was no way we could win the race. And we had the class of the field in a race car, and the guys have been giving me the good stuff. So.
Congratulations, Mark Martin, winning for the first.
I got to say one more thing, too.
All right, quickly.
I want to thank Wally Dallenbach Jr. He gave me a break in traffic back there, and it maybe made the difference.
Mark thanking his teammate Wally Dallenbach Jr. It's been a long time for Mark, but he comes away the winner.
And Wally Dallenbach finished this race in second position. There are the results. Jimmy Spencer was third, Bill Elliott fourth, Ken Schrader was fifth, Marlon Labonte, P.J. Jones, Kenny Wallace, and Derek Cope are next. A reminder about the IndyCar race coming up next. And, of course, we will have NASCAR Winston Cup racing a week from today at Michigan International Speedway. You'll not want to miss that from the high banks of Michigan International. The complete field summary is what we're showing you right now. Rick Mast is okay after his scary accident early in the going. Our congratulations to Mark. This is Bob Jenkins. Thanks for joining us. So long, everyone.